All right, guys, welcome to the Drag and Drive Show, episode 43, presented by Summit Racing. Y'all, I can't believe we got a great show tonight. We have some guests that are already backstage. I can't wait for you to hang out with these dudes. It's going to be a blast. We got Gearhead Perspective podcast backstage right now. You're going to have a blast with them. I enjoy listening to a ton of their podcasts. I look forward to that one every week. So they're here to tell stories. They're drag and drive racers. They are wrenchers. They're just like us, dude. I mean, I think they are probably, yeah, I would say they're like me and you, but better. And then
Yeah.
Dragon Drive World Champion updates. I know that is why everybody is here. We are going to talk about the changes for 2024. I'm so anxious, dude. Man, I'm ready to get into this because I think the changes are going to be great for the move into the 2024 season, and I can't wait to see what comes from all of that. We're going to talk about last minute gift ideas. Like, could you order something tonight and have it in time for Christmas? We're going to talk about the sick award winners, some of the folks that we've seen there, Hot Rod Power Tour West, and a ton more. So, dude, why don't you hit the intro video and let's get this thing kicked off. Guys, I'm here with Dave Teresi, Mr. Energy.
Oh, yeah, I'm psyched to be here. Thanks for having me. And I'm
Oh, we're looking this for a 6-something. That's
Excited you're here. It's going to be a ton of fun. Great weather.
What's going on, guys? Thank you so much for having me.
I'm really excited about this right here. Man, all right, there we go. I was getting a little glitchy on my end. I hope that didn't come through, but if it did, we apologize. We're working through all the stuff in here tonight, y'all. I'm excited about this. My name is Mike Narks. I am the host of the show you're watching right now, which is the Drag and Drive Show presented by Summit Racing. I don't know, drag and drive statistician, probably the best way to say it. I live and breathe this stuff, do this full time, and y'all, my co-host Eric White has been the busiest guy in the last 3 months that I think I've ever met. Eric, introduce yourself. Tell them what you got going on, dude.
I am Eric White. I am your co host for the Dragon Drive show and news. I just got over the PRI flu, so that was wild. I help out with everything Dragon Drive Addiction, artwork, the shows, notes, all that good
Yeah,
stuff. And when I'm not doing that, I'm over running my channel, which we are live for the first time on Instagram,
yeah.
815 LSX Swaps.
Yeah, I'm excited. We did the news live on Instagram the other day. I want to give a huge shout out to StreamYard. That's who we use for our live streaming service, so we can go live on 8 different pages at once. Dude, it's so worth it. I don't know. I've sent them a lot of money in the last 18 months, and I think every dollar has been worth it. They've really helped us grow the entire brand. So big shout out to StreamYard. Well, man, listen. I don't know if people follow us outside of Instagram, but if you don't, you should. That's probably where I post the most. I know Eric probably posts photos and stuff more to our Facebook page, but listen, we're 318 followers from 70,000 on Instagram.
That's
It's
incredible.
it's insane, man. It's insane. And what's really cool is it hasn't come from like one video. We've done that. We've gone viral about 8 or 9 times, and it's really helped from there. But dude, every time we put out something, which is every day, multiple times a day, it comes down to we're just cranking stuff out. We're adding subscribers and followers every day to that. And while we were at PRI, we crossed 6,000 subs on YouTube. Dude, we're
Yep.
6,200, almost 6,300 now, and we've only been home 10 days. So
Right.
it's great stuff. Well, guys, let's kick the show off. Obviously, we want to say thank you so much to our race car friends, those folks watching this now and later, and the folks that are listening to this on the podcast, which I've been trying to do a lot better job getting these downloaded and posted a lot faster. Thank you to our sponsors, Summit Racing, Molly Motorsports, Howard's Cam, Sweet Patina, and Racing Junk. And guys, there's going to be more names added to that list as we go over a full rundown on next week's show, which is going to be the last episode of 2023. Can you believe it, dude?
It's crazy. It's
It's
crazy to
crazy.
think that we've been doing this for a year, and this
Yeah.
will be like this will be our second kind of year recap because we did
Yeah.
a year recap and 2023 goals last year. So it'll
Yeah.
be kind of exciting to see how our goals have changed from going into 2023 to
Oh,
going into 2024.
well, I'll tell you this. I never would have thought I would have quit my job. We were talking about doing stuff into 2023. So it's going to be fun. If you haven't done that, go back, watch that episode because we're going to talk about that and our goals for 2024, what we did, what we accomplished in 2023, and what's going down in 2024 because it's going to be crazy. But let's get into some news and notes here, y'all. There's a new drag and drive racer that is in the world. I want to say congratulations to Cooper and Bronny. He beautiful son there. Congratulations on him. Glad he's posted that mom is doing great. Of course, dad is doing good. He's posted some food stuff the other day. That was pretty funny. But I want to wish them the best of luck. You know, babies are always fun. And Eric has three grown babies. How many kids you got? A bunch.
I got two,
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
two,
And so,
two
yeah,
that are
and they're grown.
driving.
Yeah, ooh, scary. Well, my 13-year-old will be 14 in 3 weeks, so I'm a little nervous. So it's exciting. I want to say hi to my mom, Susan down there making comments. Want to say appreciate her popping in here for sure. And
So
then guys,
was that our future 100 bump spot right there?
no, he's going to be a lot faster than his dad was. Yeah,
There
he's
you
going
go.
to start out in something in the eights and just be, at that point it'll be mid pack,
Yeah,
so
right.
that'd be kind of fun. So congratulations to them. That's always a huge win. If you guys, I mean, these are the kind of things we want to start talking about more of. We want to add this to kind of the news, and I don't even want to start talking about what the news is going to look like in 2024 and the changes we're going to make to the show. I kind of want to do that next week, and then the first episode into 2024. So we're going to have some fun. This whole thing is going to change for the better. So it's going to be really cool. And then guys, I found this out yesterday. Thanks to Jay Blanchard for the heads up. He had mentioned this earlier in the year at one of the events, but this is a huge deal for Drag and Drive Racing. So not only do we have Ryan Hargett building a brand new unlimited car that his goal is fives, now we have Cal Hayward coming back with more power, more cage, which is what kind of took him out last time, more cubic inches because he's going from small block Ford to big block Ford, and more turbo, of course, which that's what like, and lower ET. So I talked to him, had about a 30-minute phone conversation with him. So I want to thank him for giving me the opportunity to kind of talk through it, on the phone instead of through messaging because it would have been pretty hard. So I want to kind of recap our conversation. So he's returning to Dragon Drive. His goal is Devin Vanderhoof and Bryant Goldstone to give you kind of an idea of ET range that he's looking for. It's going to have a big block Ford in place of the small block Ford. Aaron Johnson bought his old setup back in like 2019 and has been 694 with that setup in NMRA trim, like full race car stuff. Had a great conversation with him. He said the rebuild is going to be a top contender in any class. Like this car is going to be gnarly, gnarly. His last year, like I said, was to compete in 2017. He averages 775 back then with the small block Ford. That was fast then. Big,
Yeah.
big fast, like big time fast. He held the Super Street small block power adder record from 2015 until Ryan Hargett knocked it off in 2023. Dude, that's a long time in Dragon Drive. And that
Yeah.
was he held that with a 7.615, but the only reason he did that, he could have gone much faster, but he was only limited to a 750 cage. So
Mhm.
Hargett here saying I done scared Cal out of the small block class. Well, I'll tell you, his goal's 3,500 horsepower in this new build. So the car went to Tim Lyons of Lyons Custom Motorsports. That dude builds a ton of like pro mod cars. So the top notch stuff. And Cal told me that he told Tim, he's like, man, work on it when you can. I don't want to have to take a second mortgage on my house to pay for this. So they worked as they could and as money became available. So kind of a neat deal. After Aaron purchased Cal's engine, he ordered a bare block, trick flow cylinder heads, intake, and sent all of that stuff to Tim to be able to build around all of the new cage and things like that. So new setup is a Baker Engineering all aluminum big block Ford, twin 88 bullseye power turbos, and then like I said, 3,500 horsepower goal. the Rossler 2-speed 400 that was in the car is back in with a ton of new Pro Mod upgrades. So this, I mean, it's all brand new. He said this entire car is brand new except some of the sheet metal.
That's going to be sweet.
Oh, dude, it's going to be really cool. And the biggest thing for him is he says he's coming back to Drag and Drive, and he mentioned the Drag and Drive World Champion. I didn't mention it. He mentioned it. That is kind of something on his mind, but the car's still going to be LDR legal. So that's really cool that he's going to be able to keep racing it all over the place. And he said that Devin's car has basically been like a build sheet for this new car. So
That's cool.
essentially what Devin has done with his white Fox body convertible is what Cal has planned for his Fox body. So that kind of gives you an idea. And I did want to let you guys know you can follow the build here. Like we're gonna cover this as much as we talk about Ryan Hargett's car, because this level of build coming from a guy that held a record for so long, this is no joke. This is big time stuff. And you can follow it right here on the Pinky Drag. Excuse me, man, on the Pinky Drag Week Facebook page. And let me throw the link in the chat there so people can just grab it real quick and jump over there. Super cool follow. I don't know how often he is going to post, but I know he's already up several likes and followers since I grabbed this picture yesterday. And I know he's made a few different posts since then as well. So he just got back the Reed case from Rossler. And so again, parts are coming together for this thing. It's going to be really fun to watch this all come back together.
Yeah, you better tell him if he's going after Devin's car that he better get those air jacks put on too.
That's right. That's right.
Can't copy him unless you got that.
Right. Well, next item up is I didn't grab artwork for this. I meant to, and we're going to post something out about it here shortly. But Bryant Goldstone is going to be in the Summit Racing booth at the Detroit Autorama with the Drag and Drive, first ever Drag and Drive World Champion AMC Javelin. So that's really cool. Will not be at that event. We're talking about to see if maybe Eric can attend that to talk with them. But there's a lot of fun stuff that we've got planned for that too. We're already looking at sticker ideas. I think that's going to be something that we're going to obviously keep doing. It was a huge success for PRI, and I think it'll be fun going into the future. So this is going to be a really neat deal, and I want to congratulate Bryant on this. Like Summit, they sought him out to bring that car there so they could display it, which is really cool. So
yeah, and then there's going to be
for him.
Yeah, and there's going to be a bunch of Drag and Drive cars there because I know Back to the Streets is putting together a bunch of cars to take there. So I typically go to the Chicago one every year, but yeah, if I can make it happen, I'm going to head over to the Detroit one because I think that'd be really cool. It's only about 5.5 hours for me, I think.
Oh, that's not bad. Yeah, we're definitely working through that. I hope you can make that work. I'll be at a gymnastics meet. That is the determining weekend if my daughter will make it to regionals or not. So Dad's got to be there for that one.
Yeah, that's an important event there. You can't miss that.
Yeah, and she's pretty good. I want to be there to support her. So that's always a plus. I'll be sad I'll miss that for sure. Next up on the block here, we've got Troy Dykes in the Blue Shark was kind of making posts the other day in the Drag and Drive Addicts Facebook group, talking about, how many 8th mile events and are there really a whole lot of promotion and stuff. And he was really in his thought process was 8th mile is way easier on cars, all that kind of stuff. And so he was asking about, completion rates and things like that. So I figured I would bring that up. These are for the national level events. Again, 4 days or more of racing right here. These numbers really kind of surprised me a little bit how close everything really is. So total Drag and Drive national level racer participation, people that started this, 2,479 across, I think it was like 13 events or something like that. I should have written that down, and finished 2,012 of those, which means 467 DNF'd. And again, these are probably, I know there's a lot of duplicates in this because I didn't clean those out, because you want to know the numbers, per event. So that's an 81% completion rate for national level Drag and Drive. I didn't do it for regional events because so many of them are so different. And then, so you see next is the quarter mile events. These are quarter mile only. This could be within an event if they have both. This is just the quarter mile classes. 1,809 started that, 1,487 finished, giving you an 82% completion rate. So the quarter mile events actually finish better than what the eighth mile do, because eighth mile you have 670 that started and 526 that finished. So 78% of eighth mile racers actually finished the event. So not much difference as far as percentages go, but it really surprised me that quarter mile stuff is definitely a better finish ratio than what the eighth mile stuff is. So I think he was on the right track. And obviously asking about eighth mile events, we're seeing a lot of eighth mile events, and it won't change the rules for 2024 Drag and Drive World Champion, but we are looking at some adjustments for 2025 as far as the way the rules will fall for how many eighth mile events you can do, and do we, maybe necessarily need to add a eighth mile champion. So I don't know, where add more work, put more work on my plate, please. That's what we want. So
Yes, sir. More
yep.
work means we're doing something right.
That's right. That's right. Well, and it's not that we want to give participation trophies, because a lot of the world champion and points champions and things like that we're looking at, I mean, those folks, that's a job. It's work, for them to get out there and be able to do that. So that's pretty cool. Well, up next, I don't know if you guys follow Nivlak 57 and all of his work with the Atlas 4200 build, but apparently, like, I didn't see this, but Artec had a booth at PRI and they had this intake there. And
Mhm.
so this is the new intake for that setup. So he's going in, and he obviously has one of the first ones off the mill there, I guess, or whatever they would build this in, forge or whatever. And so he's going to run it, going to do a lot of testing and things like that. So Nivlak 57 on Facebook and YouTube, ton of great content there around the 4200 series. And they're building a car to replace the little red Volvo that Andrew had the accident in at Sick Week last year. They're replacing it with a Eagle Talon that they built that was actually the quickest front wheel drive LS car in the world at one time. So they're
Yeah.
completely rebuilding it to put this 4200 in and take it racing. And their goal for the little Volvo was sixes. So you can imagine what this car is going to do, and has completely proven itself over, all of their stuff has made it just works, man. They're
Yeah.
just really smart. They're engineer people. So you can tell, like, all that stuff that goes on with them.
Yeah. It was cool that they stopped by and hung out a couple different times at PRI as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. We got to see them. One, I think, while we were walking around, they came to the booth while we were gone. Then we saw them walking around, and then they came back by the booth to hang out and get some pictures and all that kind of stuff. Well, while we're bringing this up, dude, Molly Motorsports, huge
Yeah.
supporter of the channel, brand sponsor for 2023, and I'm not telling you what's going on in 2024, but I have talked to Eric Grillio, and he's one of my favorite people. So, guys, we're going to play. This will be one of the last times we play this video. We're going to have Eric at Destroyer 1320 re-record a new script for this that I've been working on. So I'm kind of excited. So let's thank Molly Motorsports real quick with this ad.
Molly Motor
Sorry,
Hey.
you drive.
Molly Motorsports is the official piston of DragonDrive.com. Molly's Power Pack piston is the perfect candidate for your drag and drive car. Molly Motorsports competes in drag and drive events and supports our community. Project manager Eric Grillio raced a 10-second stick shift Nova at Hot Rod Drag Week 2022. He's also competed in Rocky Mountain Race Week last year with his C10 truck. Visit mollymotorsports.com for the most recent line of products.
Man, I had to turn my heater off. I think that's what's giving me the.
You would think that 43 episodes in now, we would know who's pressing the button.
yeah. You can drive. Well, definitely want to say thanks to Eric and the team, and actually George, who took the picture. And this here is a Hot Rod Drag Week alumni now. He got to attend this year for the first time in his. I think he drives a Duster. So pretty
Nice.
cool. Congratulations. Then let's talk about events coming up right now. Registration is open for the 2024 Midwest Drags and Nostalgia Nights. It opened up on Saturday or Sunday, the 17th, whatever that day was. So it's open now. I don't think they've sold out yet. So there's definitely some spots. They are coming back to the Midwest. So they'll be back in Kentucky for Midwest Drags. And then Nostalgia Nights has always been in Indiana or Illinois. And they're going to start at Terre Haute, Indiana for Nostalgia Nights and go back up to Muncie and back around. Hey, there's Destroyer 1320 right there. And he says it right, guys. Hit that like button. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, make sure you hit review. Let us know how we're doing and let us know what you want to hear. All right. What did that last comment say?
Said, "Hey guys, I shaved most of my chest today. Drag and drive forever."
Yes, yes. Race weight, baby, race weight. So that's an event that is open right now that you can sign up for. You can put in your registration for that. Next up is Carolina Drag Cruise opens their registration on January 1st, and that event is the first weekend of April. So Carolina Drag Cruise, if you want to do that, it opens January 1st. And then Big Sky Race Week opens up January 13th. It is in June in Acton, Montana. So that's kind of cool. And then Austin will be on the Dragon Drive show with us January 10th to go over kind of some of the stuff because it's a brand new event.
Yep.
Nothing has ever happened in that part of the country. So it's going to be really kind of fun to see all that, to see
We
what
got
comes up.
Central Victorian Drag and Drive is open for entries for April 2024, 18th through 21st.
Yep, that's actually the next note I had up. So I'm loving seeing Dave Curtis has been posting all over about this. It's great. I did learn that there's nothing in Perth this year, which is the event that's way out on the whatever the single car coast is over there. I think that's probably the east coast for Australia. For us, that would be the west coast if we were looking at it. The left side of that picture is what I'm talking about. So everything will be kind of in the southeast of the country for that. So man, it really should help grow, but that gives 7 events for Australia in 2024.
That's
Absolutely
awesome.
crazy. Oh man, it's so amazing. So congratulations to them. And again, if you're in Australia, make that trip. That is the next, I don't know, Dragon Drive Mecca. I mean, there's a lot of stuff coming up. There were years where there weren't 7 Dragon Drive events in the world, and now there's that. So what's Nico saying here? Says my dad lives in North Carolina, so it'd be cool to make a trip out there. Yes, yes, for sure. That would be awesome. And Carolina Drag Cruise, and then later in the season, um, Southeast Street Meet is going to host theirs in October or early November.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting, kind of seeing which other countries start having multiple events now.
I just want to see one in Brazil. I'm ready to see something, in Central America, South America, Africa, there's Russia, there's all these other places that we're seeing, like we're at 31 events already. Oh, Rodney's Rods here saying Miles of Mayhem registration is January 6th. I'm going to make a note of that because we'll definitely talk about that next week.
That's sweet. We're getting all the updates right here on the live stream.
Yeah, I try and keep up with all that stuff as often as we can, but sometimes that just doesn't work.
Yeah,
It's hard to follow all that. So I have a list of things to check at all times. If I'm, yeah, come on out to Australia. Yes, we definitely need to do that for sure.
yeah. I think
That
that'd
is
be a
on my bucket list.
that'd be a cool event to attend.
Yep, and Joe Ernst had a good idea about kind of color coding the ones that are in America to kind of give an idea of timeline throughout the year. But I'm working on something else that would be really kind of cool. I'm hoping will work. It's going to look good in my mind, but I don't know if it'll actually look good in real life. But I should have that done sometime next week. So that's kind of the plan. All right, so moving on, event stuff. Obviously, guys, we host the circuit, the Dragon Drive event here in the middle part of the country. Start at Joplin, Missouri at Mocan Dragway and drive to Ozark Raceway Park, which we were talking about a little bit before the show there. But Brandon Parker of Olive Branch Acres, and the dude that posts my favorite post on Facebook generally is it's Friday Act Like It post. So Olive Branch Acres is their charitable organization, and guys, he's given the media a chance to race. That's not ever something that happens. Those guys are generally racing for the best shot, but now they're going to get a chance to get in the driver's seat. We're not going to talk about what car it is, but everyone will drive the same car. They'll get a special trophy and bragging rights. Essentially, that's what we all want, anyways, is bragging rights. So 1320 video did this with Kyle's Blackhawk, whatever, Blackwing, Cadillac Blackwing at Race Week. I love this idea. I think it's really cool. And it gives an opportunity for everybody to talk and kind of hang out and do all that kind of stuff. So that's pretty neat. And then,
I'm coming for that.
oh yeah, yeah. I'm not going to participate because I'm a slow driver, but also like I want to cover it and talk to all you guys. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And then Corey Nicholson signed up for the U versus U. He is going to be the sponsor with Car Change 3D. I'm really excited about him coming on board. He's doing this class for the circuit, and then also we're working on something for the drag and drive addiction as well. And if you don't know, Car Change 3D is actually a lot more than car key change, which is what it started as, but they do all kinds of like sun visors that mount to roll bars and all that kind of stuff. So it's really going to be a great partnership, I think. And as we move into, expanding our offerings, he's going to be able to help in a lot of ways for a lot of the stuff that we're interested in bringing you guys. So that's kind of cool. And then last up, the gentleman that did the trophies last year, the guy that did the trophies for the Drag and Drive Awards, is back for the circuit this year. Travis Wise of Revved Up Laser Works is doing the trophies for 2024, the circuit, and they're so cool. I'm not even going to show anything. He should have the samples in about 3 weeks, and once he gets one of those done up, we're gonna hit it and show it off then. But y'all, his brain works different than mine, man. It's really cool. So I want to say thanks to Travis for making things like this happen. So it's gonna be really exciting. All
Yeah,
right.
and him and I have even talked about a couple other things that I think will be pretty fun as far as laser type
Oh
stuff for
yeah.
the circuit. So
Yep.
I think there'll
That's
be a
gonna
lot of cool stuff. I think that one's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm ready for you guys to work through that. You bought a laser engraver the other day, or a couple weeks ago. That's going to be a lot of fun for you to be learning, and you know how that goes. We're going to end up with a ton of really neat things
Oh,
that
of
come
course.
with it. A lot of specialty one-off stuff. I think it'll also allow us to send stuff to other events. Maybe if we're not going to go, maybe we can sponsor a trophy or something like that for those. We'll see. I don't know.
Yep.
So going to be kind of exciting. And then Sickest of the Sick, the awards for the Sick the Mag, they have come out with. They've been posting for a couple weeks, like taking nominations and things like that. So they've begun the popular vote portion of that. So they essentially Derek Putnam went through, and if you made a nomination and then that nomination was voted the most, they took the top 5 of those and have put them into like all of these categories. So I want to congratulate them. You go to Sick the Mag Facebook group and you can kind of scroll down through there and see all the stuff. But racers were nominated by their peers in dedicated posts, and then the top 5 moved on to a public poll. And from what I can tell, the ones that I'm going to go over here in just a minute are the current winners. Now, I don't know how this works. I don't see like a timetable where the voting is going to be cut off. So you can still go in there. I would think make votes, as long as you can on there. And again, these are for public posts. You're voting on these winners, right? So that's what we want. So best trailer burnout went to Rick Trunkett with 60% of the vote, dude.
Nice.
Easy big number there. Sickest stick shift performance has right now the winning vote is Rich Guido with 68% of the vote. Thought that was pretty cool. Dial your own and index performance is tied between James Rowlett and Rovic at 42% of the
Ooh,
vote.
that's going to be close.
So that's 84% of the votes to those two dudes out of 5. And that
Yeah.
thing's been up for a couple days. And then the sickest big tire performance, Jason Hurley, our boy in the Meltdown Firebird, 49% of the vote out of those 5. And dude, he had some stiff competition. Bailey was in there, Goldstone was in there, and obviously 2 others. I don't remember the other 2. Sickest small tire performance also went to Rich Guido, or currently to Rich Guido, with 58% of the vote. And then some of the other awards that I didn't see the poll come out on, so I don't know what the plan is there, right? So it's sickest burnout, which I thought was a really good deal. That sickest without a trailer, sickest engine combo, sickest roadside repair, wheelie, single small tire run, and sickest thrash. So I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, Nico, you're saying Mr. 200 mile an hour for the win. That's right. Congratulations to him. So I want to congratulate all the winners, all the ones that were nominated. There were a ton of comments in some of these, nominating a ton of people. And I know John Mankia was up. They were, I think, voting for the sickest roadside repair, I think, as I was writing these notes at about 5:00 today. So John Mankia was in the lead, but only barely. As you move, as they move into all of that. And John won our sickest roadside repair. No, that was Kyle Amelano. John won one thing, or was nominated on our side too. I can't remember.
Yeah.
It's been too long since the awards. It's 2 weeks, a week and a half ago. So, congratulations to everybody there, and obviously wish everybody well and good luck into that. We want everybody to win that. I mean, that's really a cool way to do it, and love the opportunity for people voting on what they feel is like the setup there. So cool. Anyways, moving on. Found on Racing Junk. Dude, did you get the email from Racing Junk? Have you seen this thing?
I don't know if I did.
Oh my gosh, yeah. If you guys aren't signed up for the Racing Junk newsletter, you need to do that because you're caught up on a ton of different, a lot of, I don't know, fresh cars that get posted, a lot of fresh trailers that get posted, all that stuff. You are caught up on that, only the best stuff. And then they're also doing a giveaway with Leaf Racewear. Dude, this is a full-on custom suit.
Dude, that's
Like,
pretty cool.
yeah, helmet, gloves, underwear. Hey, it's Christmas time. I know all you guys need underwear. It's a great way to win some. And then obviously a head sock and all that kind of stuff. So $2,200 deals, pretty awesome. And you just sign up for, I don't know. Let me post the link here real quick. I had it pulled up there, and you can jump in there and just submit some info and be entered. And I wish you the best of luck because I also have entered, and I hope I win. So not that I need a suit, but it's fully custom tailored to you as well. And dude, we spend a ton of time on Racing Junk, so there's always really cool stuff on there: cars, parts, anything like that. I think that's why we don't offer a buy sell trade page, is because Facebook squashes a lot of that. Well, they don't squash anything on Racing Junk. So, and you can look in the area that you're in. So, pretty good deal there. All right. So tell us what you found on the racingjunk.com this week.
All right, let me pull this up because I've got some cool stuff. The first one here, I'm a 240 guy.
Oh yeah.
Twin turbo, 240 SX, runs
Dude,
fours, 50
Fours for
grand.
50? Man, wow.
I mean, I can't afford 50 grand, but I thought this was cool. I'm a 240 guy. Don't love the front end. I'm not a huge fan on that, but I'm sure the fiberglass obviously is good for lightweight and everything.
Yeah, it almost has like a Nissan, 280Z look, kind of with
Yeah,
the over. That's pretty interesting, huh?
yeah, with those headlights instead of being the flip ups, they kind of got that fiberglass enclosure there. But it's a 6.0 LS. I love that.
Oh yeah.
Twin 7876 Reed Power Glide 9-inch, Holly computer, Aeromotive fuel, runs fours in the eighth, and is willing to trade for a 66 to 67 Nova.
Wow. I don't blame him.
Yeah, me neither. But I do like that. Other than the kind of headlights and front end, I really like that.
Yeah.
And I'm an LS guy. I'm a twin
Yeah.
turbo guy, and I'm a 240 guy. So
Yeah, I'm a fours guy.
yeah, yeah, that's two.
Yeah.
So that's my first find. My second find I thought was pretty cool too. This is a 81 AMC Spirit LS powered for 23.5.
That's an interesting. Looks kind of like I don't know, like I don't long back Nova or something. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I wish there was more photos of this one because I thought this one was really unique. This one's in Oklahoma. Again, 6.0 iron LS, 370 cubic inch Eagle rods. Hey, what kind of pistons does it have?
It got Molly.
It's got Molly pistons.
I know that's right.
BTR Stage 3 LSA blower, which I thought was even cooler.
Wow.
Aftermarket fuel rails and 72 injectors. So I thought that one was pretty cool.
Yeah, and good color and a weird car. I mean, you don't see a lot of those, so that's kind of cool. I'm
Right.
into that one.
Yep. So as soon as I saw it, I'm like, that one's going in for sure.
Yeah.
And the last one,
I mean,
LS.
they could almost be like Bryant Goldstone and own an
Yeah.
AMC.
Yep. Yeah. This one got my attention because of the trim ring on the front.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, look at that. LS Turbo Fox Body 850, small tire. It says it's a no prep car, but we can change that around.
Yeah.
So the only thing,
it can't be a no prep. It doesn't have one of those the weight bias things off the back.
yeah, right. So scroll through the picture. It's got a cool kind of I don't know if it's a wrap. I would assume it's a wrap on there,
Oh
but
yeah.
I liked that. Obviously, it's LS big turbo.
Interesting. I'm a fan.
So I thought that was cool. 25 grand didn't seem horrible for that one. All put together, ready to go. This one's in Minnesota. 91 turbo Ford Mustang. Weight 2767.
Wow.
Yeah, with him in it, 210 pounder. It's at 2977 with a full tank of E85. So fully built Forge LS iron 6.0 board 30 over, 40 psi of boost on a Terminator X with a 6.86-inch Pro Dash. So yeah, I thought that one was pretty cool.
Yeah. And a huge turbo.
Yeah, yeah, we got a 94 133 forced inductions turbo,
Come on.
2,000 horse rated. So
Wow. Yeah. Somebody needs to drag and drive this car big time.
yeah,
Dude, is that a laptop or a tablet in there?
it looked like
Yeah.
a tablet.
They got a DVD player in there. Road trips, baby.
Yeah.
He's ready. He's ready.
Yep. So those were my found on racing junk for this week. I thought those were some pretty good ones.
Yeah, dude. Great finds there, man, for sure. And again, Racing Junk, man, the official buy sell trade of Drag and Drive Addiction. That's the only place we shop really on that stuff, other
Yeah.
than Facebook Marketplace, which the guys here later they do a whole segment on Facebook Marketplace. So that's going to be kind of fun to hear some of their fun stories that come from that. All
Yeah.
right.
If you guys don't use racing junk, you will get lost on that website. You know how long it takes me to find cars for the show because I go down this rabbit hole and I'm like,
Yeah.
this one's cool. No, this one's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna take
I
that
like
one.
that you can search for a lot of different things, like keywords and phrases and all that kind of stuff. And you can't really do that with Marketplace that I've figured out anyways. So Devin, you have not missed that. We are up next. We're talking about the Hot Rod Power Tour West, and then we're diving into Dragon Drive World Champion updates. So, all right, let's jump in here. Thank you so much to Sweet Patina, guys. You know we love them. I have the TKO hand cleaning wipes in the shop now. Finally, I keep them in my podcast room so we can grab them. But
And I
y'all,
got to use them at PRI.
yeah, we had them out on the table, which was really cool to let people kind of, get that. They didn't use a whole lot, which was great because that means I get to bring the rest of them home. But roof mount, I mean, they've got all kinds of really cool stuff. But the reason that Sweet Patina works so well with us is because they believe stuff should be driven. That 57 wagon in this picture right here, yes, that's a rooftop tent on that thing, and they've put like 20,000 miles on it in 2023, going to different shows. They've been all over the country in that thing, all 48 states, raising money for ALS. It's wild. They're a great company. Blake and the team over there do an amazing job and are always bringing out new products. So make sure you're checking back sweetpatina.com. And dude, you get 10% off, man.
Yeah,
Like,
use code DND57 for 10%. I mean,
yeah,
you can get a T-shirt, you can get the sweet patina sauce, you can get
yeah,
those roof mounts like you're talking about, and then throw on that code and you'll get 10% right off of that. So
that's right.
pretty good deal.
Yeah, it's a good deal, and they're a great supporter of ours. They keep everything rolling along. So I want to say thanks to them for sure. And let's talk about Hot Rod Power Tour West and why I think they one thing that they missed that they could have done that could have made this thing better.
Oh
Let's talk
boy.
about this thing though. Let's talk about this thing getting through here though. I'm so glad to see something like this coming back to the West Coast. They've been left out for a long time, so it's amazing to see all this stuff that's going on. Looking at the pictures, I mean, dude, there were hundreds of cars there. I don't know, maybe 1,000. I haven't seen like an official number or anything like that. I'm sure that comes out in the magazine, but they hit a lot of really cool stuff. So they were at Irwindale, they were at Las Vegas, and they were at Pomona, which is three really cool tracks to take that many racers on. But you see that they're at speedways and racetracks, right?
Yeah, three of
That
them.
that's going to come in here in just a few minutes. But I thought the photos that came out of that were really cool. Freiberger and Dulcich were there in the Crusher Camaro there on the left. In what Freiberger says was like the 90s. This is how it looked in the 90s when they first built that car. So even down to like the Convo Pros, this is the actual hood from that car in 1994. So kind of a
Nice.
neat deal. Yeah, they went from like a tunnel ram setup down to a single 4 barrel on it, and then tightened up the converter and 350 gears and just cruised. Said like 2,900 RPMs at 80 miles an hour. So he said he said the Las Vegas and Pomona track were all torn up by street tires, so our 60-foot numbers were terrible. They ran a 172 60-foot, 1175 quarter mile at 116 in Vegas, and at Pomona it went 188 60-foot, 1176 and 119. And then that meant he's like, this car has a lot lower time, and low 11s in this thing for sure with the mile per hour. So thought that was pretty cool. And obviously, anytime they can take that car out, I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
my thought, and I know everybody knows where I'm going with this. Why not just add a drag and drive element to this? Like you could have made it a challenge. Like it could have just been something fun. So it got me thinking. It got me looking back. They had done a hot rod drag weekend early in the years. This was in 2015. So I messaged Tanya Turk. Big shout out to her for having all of this historical data because that was not in the data that I had. So I have all of the drag weeks from the beginning, but did not have the 2015 Hot Rod Drag Weekend. So big shout out to her because I messaged her and I was like, "Hey, can you send me that? And I want to look at some cool, fun stuff in there." And she did, and it was amazing. So pretty cool there. I really think they could have, since you're already at tracks, they could have just simply added, a drag and drive element to it and had some fun. Again, it's a regional event. It wouldn't have been promoted as a full blown, hot rod drag weekend, all that kind of stuff. But you really could have introduced a lot of the racers that were making passes to a traditional drag and drive setup where they're looking for their best average. I think
Right.
it would have been just a really, really easy way to do that. And I think for our community to continue to grow, regional events are the key, but nobody's done it at the level that I feel like needs to be done. I hope the circuit does. I hope the circuit shows that it can be successful and people will talk about it and it'll bring a lot of new people into the community. That's my goal, anyways. Okay. Oh, I see. Andrea S123 says they did do two drag weekends, 2015 and 2016. Okay, perfect. I'll have to get that. I have to get that data then as well. So, but a lot of really neat people raced in the 2015 drag weekend because until then, that was the only drag week was the only event. Now 2015 changed it up a little bit because obviously we had Rocky Mountain Race Week in one guy's garage, but there were big name guys that did this. Like Bill Fowler was out there, Jeff Lutz was out there, Joe Barry, Dave Schroeder made it to the drag weekend. Ken Riddle was in it, and then David Freiberger, his name was on the list for racers. He didn't complete the week, but he was on the list of racers. I think they really could have had an opportunity to, just that one next level, man. But again, all we look at is drag and drive. That's all
Right.
that's all we care about. It's all anytime you can add one to a 3-day event already, it just makes sense. And those guys were driving, those guys were making passes. It would have been, say you do two classes, you do two trophies. Now suddenly those guys are like itching for Hot Rod Drag Week. So
Yeah, and then plus you get all that introduction to what a drag and drive is, because I'm sure
yeah,
there's people there that have cars that drive them, obviously, and they went to all these places, but they still don't know what a drag and drive is. So just
yeah,
being
they
able
just
to spread that word
yeah.
would be huge.
Yep. So, I think we're going to see some events do that. We're going to see some events kind of gain, think that one next step. What is that one thing that we could do it and add that and do it in the way that we want to, not like maybe Holly LS Fest does it, where they call it a drag and drive and it's 10 miles of driving inside the loop there. But that's not for us to decide what a drag and drive event is. That's for everyone else to figure out. So, all right. Anyways, moving on. I want to say congratulations to everybody that made that trip. That was really cool. And I know that it's a good thing for the sport for them to be out there and doing that kind of stuff on the West Coast. I think there's so much growth. Obviously, the West Coast is like the mecca, but there's so much growth that can be had from there in national level style events. So Redwood Rally, I mean, obviously they did a huge event last year. They're doing another big one this year, and now we've got like BC Drag It Challenge on the West Coast. We got Alaska Speed Week. I know that's not really West Coast, but like we're seeing the spread for sure. All right,
Yeah.
it's December 20th. That's why my plan is to go inside tonight and work until my eyes won't say open anymore and get this podcast put together and out tonight. So maybe our folks on the podcast can listen to this tomorrow and make sure they have ordered those parts to get there in time. So I thought, let's look at some last minute gift ideas that if you live relatively close to one of the four Summit warehouses, retail stores, you could pick these up. So I wanted stuff that was easy and in stock and good reviews. Okay. One thing that's on my mind lately is octane booster. I know that's probably goofy, but this is something that's in stock. Y'all, this has 61 reviews on it, and they're all almost 5-star. Like, dude, it doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah.
So this was a pretty good deal. And for 35 bucks, I think it does like 10 gallons of fuel. And it
Great
was
stocking stuffer.
oh, I mean, like this is a good deal and a lot of fun for that car guy that you don't know what to buy for. Buy him this. Like,
Yeah.
this is an easy purchase right here for sure. If you don't want to do that, you're brand loyal to VP Racing. They have their own octane and they have a couple different levels. Obviously, very highly rated, above 4.5 stars on the top one there with 14 reviews. And then the next one here, 5 stars on 5 reviews. And these are a little less money. So, shipping and all that kind of stuff you can take care of. So thought that was really cool. These are easy. You go right to summitracing.com, pick these up. And then if you're like me, your stuff's been parked for a long time. I should have put this in a long time ago, but I didn't. But this is a fuel system stabilizer. You really need to be thinking about that with the E that's in the fuel now. If you let something sit like, that's part of my tune-up process for this truck is to be able to pull it out. Now I've got to pull injectors. I've got to get those cleaned. I've got to, flush the system. Probably going to change the fuel filter, all that kind of stuff. So, and it's because I've let that fuel sit. Well,
Hmm.
I knew the truck was going to sit for a little while. I could have just had some of this on the shelf and thrown it in there. And dude, $9, $16. Come on, man. Throw that in your cart as you're making your order for your Drag and Drive hoodie, Drag and Drive hat, Drag and Drive shirt. They got the two different styles. They got the Tommy Dupree shirt. They've got the what you call the OG design, and then the new hat, which you're wearing tonight. I'm wearing the world champion
Yep.
right there. So
And
so
each one of these makes great stocking stuffers. The shirt, the hat,
yeah,
the octane booster, any of that stuff.
yeah,
Maybe not the hoodie. I don't think you're gonna stuff that in a
yeah.
stocking, but yeah, great stuff.
Yeah, and very easy. And again, all that stuff is in stock today, ready to go. So if you're listening to this on the podcast tomorrow, you probably need to order right now than any time later. Like you got to do it right now. If you're watching this right now, hit that pause button, jump over it, order your parts and pieces, and get rolling. Guys, I need a favor though because we're fixing to talk about the elephant in the room. Right, we're going to talk about the Drag and Drive World Champion. I need you to hit the share button right now as we jump into this because this is going to be a big deal. This is exciting for not only the sport, but for us to finally get into some of this, learn some stuff through 2023. And then, again, what we're going to incorporate into 2024, I think only makes it one easier. That's been my biggest thing is I want, as we move forward, we need to keep it simple, right? So we made a post, we asked for suggestions. It really came down to looking at those and I just don't feel like we can add some of those right now because there's not a way that I can know that information ahead of time. So we're going to get into this. There are some new rules that I've laid out. There are some new points. We are removing some points from some of the standings, and then the new rule I think is going to be good, but it's nothing that's absolutely crazy. So let's jump into it. Changes for 2024. The class win, this has been asked by several folks, is moving from 7 points to 8 points because we're removing the mile an hour record reset point. Okay. The reason this happens is because not everyone historically has collected mile per hour time or mile per hour for their participants. So it's very hard. So sadly, like Ryan Hargett missed out on possibly getting one extra point that would have locked his spot in for second place in the Drag and Drive World Championship because we didn't have mile per hour stuff for Southeast Street and Heat historically. Now, moving forward, could we ask those event promoters to do that? And yes, we could certainly do that. But that doesn't help if they haven't gotten that in the past. And did they get it in 2023? Based on what I saw, no, they did not. So we only have about 5 or 6 major events that collect mile per hour data. So it's very hard. It's a complete change in their process. I'm not going to ask them to do that. So instead, we're going to remove the mile per hour record reset point and we're going to add it to the class win. Now, we are adding a whole new level because there's so many cars that are being built with a 5-second goal that we're adding a 5-second quarter mile average. The bonus points for that are going to be 8 bonus points if someone finishes with a 5-second average, or if they race an 8th mile class or event and they finish with something faster than a 4:10, which has never been done either. So big leap to get where we are from where we were, because like Goldstone ran 4:50 at Southeast Street Meet this year for the 8th mile win there. I mean, that's light years away from 4:10. Now, can he run a 4:09, 4:06? Westberg went 4:03 one day in competition. I think it's possible. And until that actually happens, these are the points that are going to be laid out with the intention that we want those racers to push. We want somebody to turn it up and go the 5s, because if they do that, we want a really good opportunity for them to run 2 events and have a pretty good chance at winning the world champion. So that'll be interesting to see how it plays out, and if we actually can get one this year, because not just Bailey who's ran one, Ryan's building that new car for 5s, which is ultimate end goal. I know not the goal out of the gate for 5s there, and then you've got Stefan Gustafsson who's building his new car for 2025. So again, I looked at all these. I figured with the talking to you, talking to Summit, talking to a couple different racers, this was probably the best way to get into pushing some folks for that. So I looked to make sure that this wasn't going to absolutely blow everything out of the water from last year, and it would have actually finished exactly the same for the top 3, but the point spread would have been tighter between Bryant Goldstone and Ryan Hargett, and it would have been tighter between Hargett I guess it couldn't have been tighter between Hargett and Corey Thompson. They tied at 110 for 2023, but it would have only been 1 or 2 points different. I can't remember off the top of my head now between those two guys. So I think this is good for us. I think this moves in the right direction. And then you guys can see here the new rule, because Ryan Hargett did this at Southeast Street Meet, and we had Gary Bell double enter he entered 2 cars at Midwest Drags. Now he does it because he wants to enjoy it and drive those cars. That's really the only drag and drive event he does. So we're going to have to look at how that works for rules between the tracks, because obviously Gary can't drive both cars. That's not how this whole thing works, right? But Ryan entering 2 classes with the same car is cool, because at street meet you have to change tires, so it adds just this whole other level of complexity. For 2023, it was very easy because it was an 8th mile event. He could only count 1 8th mile event for his world champion record points. But moving forward, if he had done that and it was at a quarter mile event, would he have been able to count both towards the points? That would have been something very hard to determine in the midst of stuff. So I want to get this handled beforehand and talk about it now. If one racer enters 2 classes or 2 cars, if the same racer is racing 2 vehicles or 2 classes in one event, only their highest points will be awarded. The lower points of their finish will not count towards their drag and drive world champion points. Period. Okay, I don't know where to stop on that, but I think that's probably one of the best ways to handle that, is because we're going to find some gray areas in 2024, because everybody was seeing how it worked out in 2023. Now we're going to figure out the rule set and the edge of these gray areas right here. I'm excited to announce this. We are going to be adding an 850 points champion and a 10-0 points champion. Thank you to the guys at Summit for making this happen. This is really cool, because essentially it would be very, very difficult for an 850 limited caged car to win the Drag and Drive World Champion. So we're going to create their own points champion within that. Now, the way this is going to work, let me pull my notes back up, is essentially the point structure will all be the same, but it will come down to how you enter. Like if you are entered in an 850 limited class, obviously that's going to be an easy marker. If the class win is between 850 and 999 or 10-0 and above, then your points will be, I'm not going to say awarded for that class, but that's how it's going to break down. Okay. So again, this is something new. We're going to have to see how this shakes out at Sick Week. There may be some tweaking to the rules in this. I'm going to put out a rule set on Friday that I think will wrap up how this works. But I wanted to get it out tonight because we were talking about Drag and Drive World Champion. So for all of you 850 racers, you will have an opportunity to win your own points championship because you are cage limited and ET limited. The same thing for the 10-0 and above cars. Now, I say 10-0 because there's all of the index racers that also race at like Rocky Mountain Race Week, and we're seeing some additions at Midwest Drags with the 10, 11, and 12 stuff. So you can still earn points. You'll still do all of that like normal, like you would have, except now you'll have an opportunity to win a trophy and some prize pack, which we're working through right now with potential sponsors and all that. So if you'd like to get involved in any of this, come on board. Let's talk. Let's go through all this. So again, full rules will be available on those two points champions on Friday. I'll have out what I feel like is probably a good way to lay that out there. So, yeah, Trevor Brandon, yeah, just putting a bigger cage in now. 1 year too late. Well, man, that's the way it works. And so the cool thing about this is nothing will change as far as the points collection. It's just going to come down to giving the 850 guys a real opportunity to earn a points championship and hang that mantle, hang that trophy on their wall and talk about that. So we're going to do something special for them. Thank you again to Summit Racing for making this possible. So, and don't worry, guys. 2025, we are already looking at an 8th mile world points champion as well. So there's definitely some room to grow there. There are a lot of 8th mile events that are coming out that are national level. And so we're looking at those as well to be added to it. Now, next up, this is the one that everybody is worried about right here is the eligibility or the eligible event list for 2024. This is currently the list. I am waiting to hear back on BC Drag It Challenge with how many racers they had last year. I know they're opening up to 150 racers this year, but I really need to know how many they had on site last year to determine if they are going to be eligible for 2024. So Sick Week, Sick Summer, Midwest Drags, Big Sky Race Week, Miles of Mayhem, Street Machine, Drag Challenge. As of right now, I feel like the Road Trip Drag Challenge 5-dayer will have enough cars to qualify. I just need to know if they're racing for 4 days. Based on I couldn't really tell their schedule, if it's 4 days of racing or 3 days of racing and a shootout. Street Week Sweden, Hot Rod Drag Week, Southeast Street and Yeet, Redwood Rally, Rocky Mountain Race Week, and Sick 66. If Sick 66 is like Death Week, the top 3 will be the only folks that will earn additional points other than their ET bonuses, which are all staying the same. And again, that is another 8th mile event there as well. So plan accordingly because you can only count one 8th mile event towards your world champion points. So keep that in the back of your mind. All right. I think that's probably got it. I know there's going to be a ton of questions that come about from that. I am making posts after this to post out for you guys to share. So don't worry about taking screenshots now. That post will go live right after this episode is done. This is going to be good. I'm telling you, this is really exciting because we have an opportunity to really show, I think, the next level of race can happen here. The next level of stuff can happen for the Drag and Drive community, not just for the world champion and all that, but for the entire community. I think this is going to bring a lot more attention to us. And guys, we haven't even started talking about how Bryant Goldstone is coming out to repeat and all of his stuff that he's coming out to do for 2024. So it's going to be exciting. I'm ready to get started, dude. We're 40 something days from Sick Week. So bring
Right.
it on,
And I think you've mentioned it before, but if a new national level event gets created, then there is potential for those to get added to this list.
Yes.
But
Yep.
currently, this is our national level events. So
Yep.
that's just what's been out there this far. So, again, if something gets created, and we will review that and potentially get it added. I'm not going to say we will add it because we got things to look at, but it could potentially get added to this list.
Yeah, and racers will have at least 90 days worth of notice if there is that available notice, unless it's some event that pops up. Hey, we're going to do one 2 weeks from now. So that way you can at least figure out some time off, how to register, all that kind of stuff. Like I think we saw that in 2023 with people thinking putting on a week-long event was going to be easy because all these tracks are available, blah, blah, blah. And we saw a few of them fail, and a few of the regional events had low car counts. So I think 2024 is going to be a good year for this. I think obviously we're on our side helping as much as we can. We're talking about every event that's there every day, all week, every time, to sponsors and everything like that. So anyways, this, if you guys have questions, definitely feel free to message me, feel free to message the page, feel free to make comments on any post we make. And I want to have conversations around this. I want to talk about this. I do want to talk about the mileage deal between tracks and events. That is definitely something I'm looking at in 2025. I didn't want to tackle that in 2024 because you already earn 5 points for making the trip. Okay. So you already get those points for making the drive. If you want to attend an event that has a shorter drive, that is up to you. And this is probably one of the last years that will be beneficial to you. We will add something. The real struggle is, and I'll be 100% honest, we don't know where race week's going to be. Like,
Right.
I can't make that decision that they're going to get an extra point because they drive 1,200 miles or 1,000 miles. They would make the cut at 1,000 and they get an extra point. Well, now, because Sick Week and Sick Summer is all set up way back when people signed up for it. Well, now Matt's like, oh, well, we can go a little further. Not that Matt would do this, but we can go a little further and get our racers at one more point. That's where it becomes difficult to try and figure out a manipulation on this on our side as to how points can accumulate. And so this is the fairest way I know how to do it right now, because I'll tell you, there's some of these events that don't even know where they're going in 2024 yet. And that's just the way it happens, man. I mean, it's hard to set up tracks, especially if you're a brand new event. Anyways, Dragon Drive World Champion, let's go. I've been talking to all kind of potential sponsors about it, dude. I'm so freaking pumped, man. All right. I want to start off.
I was gonna say, didn't something happen on Sunday?
Dude, oh man, just right in the heart, bro. I was getting to the damn. Calm down. So here's the deal. I don't do a whole lot of shop cleaning and garage cleaning at my house. If anybody's ever been to my shop, they know how bad it is in here. I was doing some of that and did not look at my phone for a long time and completely was a jackass. I mean, dude, I don't even know how to get around it. So I was supposed to record with Gearhead's Perspective podcast on Sunday. Those guys are super nice guys. I cannot believe I did that. I was telling Eric before this even started, I rarely miss an opportunity to talk about Dragon Drive and talk about cars, and I completely screwed the pooch on this. And so my public apology before they even get on here, I want to say I am so sorry to everyone that's out there that listens to their stuff that didn't get to hear my buttery sweet voice on their podcast, because dude, I'm telling you, they do a great job. Like 40 something episodes, I think I was saying earlier, that I've listened to. These guys are Dragon Drive racers. They get down the same way we all get down. This podcast that they do is a ton of fun. If you're not listening to it, pause this right now, jump over to your favorite podcast app and add Gearhead Perspective Podcast, and make sure you're following them on YouTube, because they basically do what we do, man. They come on here, they have slides, they have all kinds of cool stuff. It's really been a ton of fun watching them grow. And I've really been just cramming their stuff the last couple of weeks because I was getting ready for that. That whole podcast time with them. And I screwed that all up big time. So I know I'm going to take some verbal beating here, and I welcome it because I earned it big time. So we're going to bring him in. We have Fro, we have John, and we have Bo. And I want to go over, obviously we're going to talk about Dragon Drive stuff. We're going to talk about, their podcast and the growth and all that kind of thing. So let's bring them in here. We got Fro, we got Bo.
Good evening.
And we got John. Gentlemen, how are you this evening?
Good. What's up, fellas?
Hey,
Gentlemen.
Man, nothing. I'm excited to have you guys here. This is going to be a lot of fun. Sadly, I would have much rather have done this in person, but let the beatings commence. So,
man, we're not going to be rough on you.
I appreciate that.
We will go ahead and start teaching people how to use a calendar on our next episode.
there we go.
Yes,
It's
calendar
leap
and
year
alerts, man.
next year, so that probably screwed you up.
Yeah, and alerts and all that kind of stuff that help with. So here's probably the easiest way to do this is we'll start like if we kind of get into some questions here, we'll start with Fro and go Bo and then John. That'll probably be the easiest way to kind of answer stuff. I don't know. We've tried it before. It worked. It worked then. We'll see if it does now. I think we're probably all going to be talking about cool drag and drive stories as we go along through here. So it's let's kick this thing off. Introduce yourself and then kind of tell a drag and drive story like that you've been on, or kick us off with some of that stuff.
I assume we're kicking off with me.
Yeah.
I'm not the drag and drive guy, and that's what kind of throws me off on what you guys are doing. I'm the co-driver. I am the passenger seats. I've gone with Bo on race week. We've attended quite a few drag and drive events. I've got some great pictures of back when we went to drag week in 2015. We're just a group of guys that have been hanging out for the better part of 30 years. And, we wind up going to a lot of the same events. So, it's only natural that after all of this time of hanging out with each other that, we start up a podcast and start talking about it because, honestly, who hasn't?
I know what you guys are thinking. He said 30 years. There's no way because we look so young, right?
Well, you anyways. I don't know about him, but you for sure.
I've known Bo since he was 5.
Wow. Was it Uncle Fro back in the day? Is that how that?
I'm sure what they're throwing around right now is not uncle. It's probably more along the lines of grandpa. I am the voice of reason. I tend to try and steer people away from problems, and then I get drug into them, and then we all have a really good time.
Yeah. Nice.
Well, perfect. So, Fro and Bo, tell us some of your stuff, man. What you've done several events.
I'm probably the king of saying I'm going to be there, signing up, have all good intentions of being there, and just and not really. I don't want to say I'm going to show up and be competitive. I just want to be there to finish and have fun, man. I love the environment.
So kind of like Mike.
Yeah, and then something happens and I can't make it. Last year for the circuit, I was pumped, man. I signed up, got paid, I'm ready to go. And there was a little dent on the passenger side of my car or driver's side of my car, and I'll fix that. And then 4 months later, 5 months later, I'm still
completely blown apart, new paint, everything.
Yeah. So I don't have as much drag and drive on the road experience as I should. Let me put it that way.
Nice.
But now, you know what? Now the car's way better than it's ever been. And there's no reason for me to miss anything anymore, man. I'm going to be at as many events as I can be at from here on.
That's awesome. John, what about you, bud?
Just a guy that does car stuff in the garage. My first drag and drive deal was I was signed up for Rocky Mountain Race Week 2.0, and my car was broke. So I was pretty down, called Bo. He's like, man, just come get the wagon. I can't go. Somebody needs to drive it. Yep. And he literally loaned me his baby. And I took it through, I think we started in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, Oklahoma City.
Went to Texas, went the whole loop in his car because mine was broke.
Wow.
My second event was the next year at Rocky Mountain Race Week 2.0. Same route, I believe. Started in Oklahoma City, made passes there, drove to Texas, stacked bearings, and put the car on the trailer and spent the rest of the week as a fan.
Nice.
Yeah. So fast forward to, I think, tried to do the circuit last year. Cars broke again. Kind of a theme.
Dude, April's hard on people, man. I'm telling you.
It is. So you graciously let my wife drive her car. She drives a Dodge Challenger. Yep, there's her. She did the circuit, and that was a good time. I don't mind being a passenger. I'm better in that
Especially in that
position
car.
anyway. There's the driving side and the drinking side, so I'm that guy. But she did that. That was a blast. She signed up again this year.
Yeah.
Fast forward to this fall, 23 race week 2.0. Was able to get the Nova half sorted out, just enough to make some passes, and ran the whole 2.0.
Yeah.
Like 1,300 miles. Sadly, like 11:17, I think, average.
You say sadly, but that's pretty quick, man.
Yeah, in a big block deal. So it was fun. Did that with my oldest kid.
Yeah.
We obviously had some heat problems go on. Yeah, there he is. He made it about 10 minutes out of Kearney, and that's what I looked over and found. So we went pretty hard.
Yeah, it's people don't get it, man. Once you get set down for a second and that heat and that nice, that hot breeze starts coming in, gone. Yeah. Dude, you're gone. Yeah. Well, yeah, so I was flipping through, I was looking at some of you guys, your past, history and all that kind of stuff. And, basically I think you just covered it right there. But I do want to say you guys are all signed up for the Circuit 2024. I appreciate that. We are going to have a blast. I'm going to will it into existence that we're going to have a lot of fun. There's a lot of really neat stuff. I intend to drive the route a couple times between now and then, and that way we can really find the best route stops. I think we're going to stop at Uranus and things like that. So.
Oh yeah, Fro's been there several times, I think.
Yeah.
He's a frequent flyer.
Yeah, there's somebody listening to this podcast that just what?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're signed up for John signed up for Big Block, all motor Big Block in the Nova, and then your wife is signed up in the Challenger, and you versus you again. So it's pretty exciting. And then Bo, you're signed up in the Malibu wagon, but I don't remember what your class is.
I'm going to be you versus you until I can get to the track, until I can figure out some times.
Yep.
If I can get in on an index class, I'm going to do that. But
yeah,
right now I'll be you versus you. We tried to go out last Sunday and make some test hits, and didn't work out for me.
So that's all
somebody had to cut it short a little bit.
My slicks got cut short, is what happened.
Oh man, dang.
Long backspace. I knew a set of wheels, and they were some bad backspacing, and we in general Gearhead fashion, we wanted them to work so bad that we overlooked an obvious problem.
No, we saw it. We're like, it'll be fine.
It'll be fine. It's only 2 rips. It's fine.
We were pretty sure
it wasn't fine.
No, they were just a shade bit too wide.
It's okay though.
Yeah,
nice. Well, why don't you guys give us like quick, recaps of the cars? Fro, let's start with you because your car is kind of cool. I'm a big fan of having something that's been in the family for a long time. So tell us a little bit about yours, and then we'll move again to Bo and John.
I have a 1965 Ford Fairlane, and Narks has an advantage here. Narks has seen this car before. I've talked to Narks about this quite a bit. It's a car that's been in my family for 40 years.
Wow.
The tag that I took off of it when my mom parked it in my grandpa's backyard was 1992. So it has been sitting since 1992. It's not a fast moving project, and it's not going to be a fast moving project when it's done. It's it's a cruiser. I'm here to have fun in this car. I want to drive. I want to enjoy it. It's going to make a great car to chase down these guys when they're out on drag and drive, stuff like that.
Yeah.
My mom had this car initially. She sold it to my grandpa. Grandpa basically used it as his tinker car. So basically it sat around in his backyard for 20 years. I picked it up 2 days before my son was born, and he'll be 13 this year.
Wow.
I finally got to drive the car last summer, and there are things that don't occur to you. My wife asked me, she said, "How long has it been since you drove this car?" And I said, Mom sold it before I got my license, so I've actually never driven this car.
Wow. How cool, man. How cool. Well, what's the power plant stuff in it?
Basically, it's a 302 out of a newer model Mustang. The transmission is an AOD. The rear end gears are entirely too tall right now. I'm going to switch it over to an 8.8. I want to say right now it's got something like a 270 in the back.
Ooh.
So yeah, it'll
idling at 107 miles an hour.
It'll do about 300 miles an hour. I just don't know how I'm going to get it there.
We've told them that's perfect for high mile an hour burnouts. That's fine.
Yeah. Listen, smoky burnouts are all about wheel speed. Yeah, you would definitely have it.
But no, I've done a lot of work on the car. If you do listen to our show, I catch a lot of hell over this because it is a slow moving project. It is. Yeah. It has taken me some time, but we all try to be there for each other, and sometimes that overshadows your own project.
I know that's right. But Bo, tell us about the Malibu wagon, because dude, it's one of my favorites. And while you're talking, I'm gonna pull up a couple shots of it.
So my story isn't near as cool as Fro's. So I've always been in hot rods. I've been a Mustang guy my whole life. I've owned a bunch of Mustangs.
There we go.
Turbo cars, supercharged cars, and I've owned several. I ended up getting rid of all my stuff. I got married. More kids come about, and I didn't have a hot rod for a while. Well, about time I started getting comfortable and everything was good, I'm like, you know what? I need to get back to it. I'm having withdrawals of having something cool to drive around. So I've always been a wagon fan. It doesn't, this isn't necessarily my favorite body style of wagon, but this car, my wagon, sat in a field in Kansas for 17 years. And
wow.
The guy put it up on Marketplace. He wanted, I think, $1,200 for it. And I traded a rifle for it, to be honest with you.
So that's awesome. The pricing is right.
Yeah. I traded a rifle that I'd shot maybe 3 times. I had it for 7 years. So traded it for him, or traded the rifle to him for that. And
nice.
The plan was mild small block, overdrive transmission, heat, air conditioning. It was going to be a family cruiser. I want to take my family on power tour. That's what I wanted. That was the plan. And then, like Fro's mentioned, and on our show, I had to cut a hole in the hood for the air cleaner to fit. Right.
Right.
You know what happens when you have to cut a hole in the hood, guys?
It's a race car now.
Turns into a race car.
Yeah.
So at that point, my goals kind of changed, which is unfortunate because a lot of the stuff that I bought originally had to be changed, or let's be honest, some of it's not changed and it needs to be.
Right.
But so I had to redo, things a few times, but it is it's a small block Chevy. It's a 383. It has some cheaper aluminum heads on it that have been gone through. They're decent, they're nothing special. Comp cams on, it sounds good. It runs good. I did have a 700 R4 in it for a long time, with a TCI full manual valve body, which made it live with slicks and launching and everything.
Yeah, and burnouts here.
And doing burnouts, yeah. And then I recently ended up coming into a really good deal on a Holley Terminator X stealth kit.
Nice.
So I got that put on, and I took it over to a tuner there in Diamond, Missouri, and apparently that deal made a little bit more horsepower than what I was making originally. And
nice.
The torque converter that I had in that transmission that I knew was a little bit wrong really showed its head. It was completely wrong. Yeah. So, Eric, you might like this. I have an LS sitting over here.
There we go.
I'd planned on putting in the wagon. Well, I also have had a TCI competition Turbo 400 sitting on the shelf, along with the matching torque converter.
Yeah.
So after taking the tuner, he's like, "Man, it seems pretty good, but this converter hates all motor. But when you hit the nitro, it's got a little bit of nitrous on it, just a touch.
Nice.
But when you hit the nitrous, it hates it. It hates life. So we went ahead and we swapped in the TCI Turbo 400, and man, it made it a different car. It is. I was saving it whenever I went to the LS. I was going to go with the Turbo 400 at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad that I did it now. Now I don't know if I'm going to go to the LS deal.
I mean, if the car runs and drives, you don't need to.
No, and it runs really good. I've got a couple little tiny issues I'm still kind of sorting out, but nothing that's going to keep me away from racing anymore.
That's awesome.
So it's got a built 8.8. Detroit True Track, Moser axles.
Nice.
I'm running 373s, which were really good with a 704. They seem a little steep for me and what I'm doing. I know John was nope. There's John shaking his head. Nope. But yeah, it's a really fun car now, and even with a little bit of nitrous in this new transmission and the new converter, man, it's night and day difference. So I say that it's probably still going to run 1290s, but I don't care because
it'll be fun to watch.
It's fun to drive.
But since you got it running and driving, and everything's good. Then you can take that LS and start building that. So one day, when you want something that's got more power, you'll have something built ready to swap in.
I agree with you, and that's why it's still sitting right here in the garage.
Or you build a second car.
Or I build a second.
No, I did.
And I've talked about that, and we've talked about that a bunch. Yeah. Do I build a car, or do I find a roller that's probably pretty good?
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. You find a roller that somebody dumped a whole ton of money in, and then you come in and pick up for half, and then
with the price,
he's got a perfect excuse with a teenage son.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Then definitely.
Yeah, let me tell you, maintaining 2 cars is not fun though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're like me and they both got LS, then you just rob parts from one to the other when one breaks.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that
whichever one you want to keep going, that's the one that gets the other one loses parts.
Right.
That's awesome. Well, John, what's your story? What's your car?
My car's got a little more history. I'll try to keep it short. Bought this thing in December of 17. It was sitting in a field, grass growed up through it, no motor, transmission or in. And 6 months later, in June of 18, me and Fro drove it on Hot Rod Power Tour.
Yes.
Nice.
Made the whole trip, and it was bare bones. We spent enough time with each other that we loved each other enough to throw down after 6 months of working to get. And then I'm going to tell you, if you spend a week in the car with your best friend and then come back home, it's going to be a minute before you call that guy.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Like, and Fro and I've had this conversation, I think on the podcast in the past, was like, it's okay to fist fight in the ditch. It's okay.
Yeah.
You're going to do that, especially if you are friends. And then when you get home, dude, it's a solid month for you to talk to that person again.
Yeah. So we went from field car to power tour with a little 383, almost a 700 R4, homegrown 9-inch, and then minimal interior. Came back with a blowed up 383 and a turbo 350.
Yeah.
So next iteration was like a 400 small block, I think. And then at one point I drug these guys to somewhere, Oklahoma, to buy a big block. That's a wicked story, but we all three lived. We're all three here.
Yeah, we're good.
Nice.
Barely. Like I said, I blew that one up on race week. Fast forward from there, had Greg Cullum at Transmissions to Go build me a BA 400 turbo. Had Mike Lau build me a very nice 565 because my whole goal was to run all motor because I'm not smart enough for nitrous or turbos. And that's pretty much what I'm doing. I'm to the point, quick performance 9-inch, really nice turbo 400, really nice motor, and absolutely no suspension. So
Nice.
all that and it goes like 1050s.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, this is one of my favorite shots that you sent over, and that I think I may have found this. I don't remember, but this is a cool shot. You know what I mean? But this is what that car is about. Just driving. You know what I mean? Get in, have fun. Dude, it sounds like that's what it's been since the beginning.
Yeah, that car's had a lot of miles put on it for what it is. Probably like 5,000 miles put on it in the last year.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Sweet.
Yeah, and that's what's so cool to me about that I love that car. I'm a Nova guy already, but like it's multicolored, it's got fun stories, it sounds great, all that kind of cool stuff. So we'll What are some of the things you guys did to make these cars a little more drag and drive friendly? I mean, obviously, if it doesn't have interior, that's not friendly at all. Have you put some carpet in? Did you do anything like that?
I will say, I'll go ahead and go if you want to go, Bo.
Good.
I haven't done much for creature comforts. We carried a Bluetooth speaker and we couldn't hear it over the motor and exhaust.
Yeah.
No heat, air, defrost, nothing.
Oh,
so
man.
Some of the creature comforts where we shoved extra hoodies in the kick panels to keep the
air
wind
out
from coming in
Yeah.
when we drove through a storm. But that's my wife actually looked at a set of Kirkies. We were at a car show the other day and said, "Wow, those are way more comfortable than your seats." If that tells you how bad my seats are, she thinks Kirkies are better.
That's awesome. Bo, what about you, man?
You know, like I said, I think I'm going backwards. I took the overdrive out and went with a 400, but
That's better race car stuff. And I mean, let's be honest, you don't have to be worried about that trans the whole time you're driving.
No. 55 mile an hour is all I need to go anyway. So we're good.
Yeah. Yep.
With that being said, did put in some cup holders a few weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bam. So that's and my seats do suck. I did have the real nice big cushy bench seat.
Yep.
And John drove it, you know.
Yeah.
More than whenever he took it on race week, at that point he drove the car more than I have.
Yeah. Me, Chris, and Hot Rod the Shop Dog spent like 1,300 miles on that big cushy couch.
Nice.
And it was wonderful, and he got rid of it.
But the problem with that big cushy seat was you try to do any kind of spirited driving, it's not good for that.
Yeah, you're sliding all over.
Yeah. So I did put it's got some SN95 buckets in it now that are not comfortable, but I got them, to test fit. Now I need to find some nice ones to throw in there. I did do a different shifter when I made a pedestal mount for it. So now when you're driving in the car, you're comfortable sitting. It's perfect.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm just trying to get it to where I can drive again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And John mentioned earlier he didn't get to make it to this event because it was broke, or that event or broke at an event. Mine's never been mechanically broke where I couldn't go. It's either I couldn't get away for that time, or I had the car tore down painting it or doing something else that was unnecessary.
I flipped through the back. I couldn't see. I don't have the picture of the newest paint, but it's gorgeous. We'll have to dig one of those out here in just a minute. It's a great color too, man.
Thank you.
It's great, but like the color is it's spot on, especially for a big wagon with dark windows. Like it just looks really good.
You know what? You see this? Well, it's dark in here where I'm at. This car in the sunlight is a completely different color than you think.
Oh yeah.
It is. It's bright and it's very metallic-y. There's pearl in it. It's a very good looking color.
Yep, it's cool. Well, let's talk about tracks you guys have visited. I mean, obviously, you guys have been all over the country. What are some of your favorite tracks that you've gone to? We're kind of leaning more towards drag and drive stuff, but we don't have to lock that in for sure. So, Bro, what about you, man?
I like just about every track that I've really stepped on. I mean, each one of them has its own flair to it. When we went on race week, we were down in Ennis, Texas. That's one of those tracks where it's really cool to pull out there on the track because you're pulling in under the buildings. It's a great video. It's a great picture. It's something that you can share later on. I'm more of the car show guy of this group. Earlier, you were talking about Montana. You were talking about they're getting ready to have an event.
Mm-hmm.
One of the events that I can remember going to is there was a airstrip in Cut Bank, Montana that had a car show / burnout competition. Probably one of the first burnout competitions that I really got to sit down and watch. Yeah. I enjoy just about any automotive related event that I can go to, and the crazier it gets, the more fun it is. And that's right. Where the drag and drive stuff kind of works for everybody. Is it tends to get a little crazy, but you guys keep it in check.
I don't know about that. But Bo, what about you, man?
I'm gonna throw that track in Texas we went to on last race week that I got to race in.
Yeah,
that track is just, you walk out and it is just it's huge. It's almost intimidating how big and nice it is.
Yes.
I looked at Fro, or either Fro or John. I looked at him and said, "They're gonna let me race my crap box on this track.
Dude,
I don't know if that's a good idea.
They let me
You know what I
make
mean?
passes in the cart there. I was like,
Which
So-
track is that?
the
Thunder
Yeah,
Valley?
Motorplex. Yeah, Texas
Yeah,
Motorplex.
Texas Motorplex.
Oh,
Um,
And it's right by the highway. So like as you're driving up, you can see it for a little ways. But at night, dude, that thing is like I don't know, it's a professional football stadium is what it looks
Yeah,
like. Because
it's
it's
huge.
big and tons of lights and stuff. It's really cool.
But honestly, I like the smaller tracks with a little bit more history behind them.
Yeah.
I have not raced at Mocan since they redid the track.
Oh, nice.
But that's kind of my home track. That's the first track I ever made a pass on. That's one
cool.
I'd sneak off on the weekends in my little truck when I was 16, 17-year-old and go make passes.
Yep.
You know, borrowed my dad's Mustang one time and took off. And of course, the next day he goes, "So, you know, what a run." And I go, "I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I got nothing." And he's like, "Come on, 1430. That's all I can get out of it." You know what I mean? It's top message. So, so I like little tracks with lots of history, and I'm surprised Fro didn't say that.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go ahead and call it. I know what John's gonna say. Let me ruin it for everybody. John's gonna say Bandamere. He's gonna go with Bandamere, I bet.
Dude, that's a top 3 track for me. That was one of the coolest experiences ever. Except that hill, that thing can kiss my ass.
100%.
Dude.
Yeah.
Oh, so I made the mistake of sorry, Al, let's say what you're saying. Jonathan Stonecipher then parked up top and Greg Jones in that Nova, they parked up top. So I was like, oh, I'll go down, down this 184 steps that goes down to the track. Well, I had left something up there. I've left my hoodie up there. So I had to go back up those. Well, nope.
Yeah.
I was about Bandamere.
I was pitted right by where Stonecipher and his crew was at.
Oh, yeah.
And walked all the way to the trailer where you turn in your tickets, which is all the way down and around. Yeah. You know how it is. It's 9 miles away, downhill both ways.
At least.
Got down there and look, and I'm like, oh man, that's the wrong time slip. Walked all the way back. I had to do that trip twice.
Yeah, yeah. So hear me out. A shuttle service, golf
shuttle service. I'd have paid somebody. I'm scared to death of them scooters, but I'd have paid somebody to let me give like piggyback ride back to the car.
Man, so I tried the scooter I have, will carry me. It's fine, but like it wouldn't pull that hill anymore, and it was dead. The battery didn't show it was dead, but like it was like F charge. It wasn't going to do it. So not only did I have to kick this electric scooter up the hill, I had to kick it up the hill.
Yeah, it's usually us bigger fellows that have a trouble with that, isn't it, Fro?
Yeah, that's the.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a struggle. That track for being so cool, I really needed a golf cart.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty neat. That one, and then I was at Thunder Valley at Bristol this year too, and that was like the same kind of feeling, like you were at a different spot. It was really cool. So Bandamere, what else, man?
So up until I went to Bandamere, I would have said Motorplex was my favorite because it was. I mean, I'd been to national events there. It's just awesome seeing those guys and then getting to run down the same surface. Yeah. I got to race Cletus in the cart in Bo's wagon there.
Nice.
And that was
a very sad video.
It was a super sad video. Yeah, I was up there and I like watched a race happen and then drove down the track. That's how that went.
Oh,
what
do you mean?
I was up next to this cat and you're watching a really fast car stage next to you, and I just got to sit there watching the show.
Oh
yeah, front row seat to this deal.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna sit and watch, and then I realized I'm supposed to be racing. I'm driving today.
Wasn't he trying to set like a new PB or something like that?
I think so. And it was awesome because you get down to the end of the track and he's like a 13-year-old that just seen his first one, so he's like slapping fives and he's hyped and he's excited. I hope every run is like that for that guy. I don't know, but so I love that track. And then my favorite track to go to on the regular is Bonterra. It's a little 8th mile outlaw deal just south of St. Louis.
Okay.
But it's just kind of fun, super chill, and they don't care what you got. They'll let you do whatever you want.
Yeah, they're like, if you're willing to make a pass in it, you can race. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I don't know if I've ever been there. I grew up in
They
Oak
can't
Ridge,
even spell
Arkansas.
tech.
Yeah. You got a tech card, TEK.
Yeah. And then but when you go to Bandamere, that track, I mean, literally brought a tear to my eye. That thing was awesome. That is the craziest experience ever. And you get to run like crap because it's way up in the mountains.
Yeah. Not only are you getting to see beautiful views, but your car is slow.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a really neat place, and it was really cool to like be there with all the Race Week folks, because that's what kicked me off into Drag and Drive was Race Week in 2020, and being able to do that, and man, it was cool to be around there and see all those folks, hang out. Jason Hurley ran his first 200-mile-an-hour pass there.
That was awesome.
Race Week. Oh, dude, that guy's one of my favorite people.
Yeah.
So Bandamere will hold a special spot in my heart. But I'll tell you this: I heard at PRI that maybe the deal got kind of cattywampus, and maybe they're going to be racing there. So, so the person that I was talking to, I don't remember who it was, but they were like, yeah, we heard it hadn't fallen through, but that it was definitely on hold for a minute. So
that's just a beautiful piece of property, a beautiful track. I can't imagine. Besides Bristol, Thunder Valley being the, I mean, those two would be the most beautiful spots to have a drag race. Yeah.
Bristol was amazing this year. It was really, really cool.
Jason Hurley here saying you need to up your standards of your favorite people.
You're not wrong.
That's right. I'll tell you, anybody in the Drag and Drive world, that's you guys are always all my favorites to start with, and then Jason's just one of the coolest dudes that I've met, and to have that level of car, you would think he races something like I do if you're talking to him, and then he busts off a 702 at 200, it's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
So pretty neat deal there.
Well, we talked about
see that.
Well, we talked about favorite tracks. What about favorite route stops? Do you guys have any favorite route stops from the events you've been on? Let's start again with Fro.
Not yet. I know that this year is looking like a really good year for anybody who's in our area of the world. We're looking at Race Week, or we're actually looking at Rocky Mountain Race Week. We're looking at 666. We're looking at the circuit. Like there's these are all, and I know I'm kind of kissing butt here. These are all guys who know how to do this drag and drive thing, and they know how to have fun with it. They know, and I remember talking to you on an episode. I did a podcast before, and talked to Narcs about this, and it was talking about trying to see how many people you could cram into a phone booth. That wasn't even a checkpoint. That was just a bunch of guys having fun.
Yeah, we're idiots. Shout out to Jonathan Stonecipher. So we had Jonathan Stonecipher, Jason Cunningham, myself, Dustin Prince, and somebody else. There were 5 of us in a regular size phone booth in Oklahoma somewhere. There's some little small town in Oklahoma that has it. It's not the same anymore because we busted it at the seams, I think.
So I don't necessarily have a favorite route stop for now, but I feel like this is going to be one of those years where we may see some really good route stops, some stuff that's really close to home. Just a shout out, I'm wearing this cool Hot Rod Central t-shirt. When 666 comes through, stop by, pick up a shirt. The guys over at Hot Rod Central are awesome, and they've still got the speed parts that you're going to need too.
Oh, nice. Yeah, and I hope you guys have. I hope they at least reach out to Tom, or I'm sure that that Race Week will probably come through there as well, because they'll run from they're racing at Mocan, like you said, and down to Tulsa. So surely they'll run most of 66 that way too.
I'm sure someone's got in contact with them.
Yeah.
What about you, Bo?
Man, I'm a dork. When we're on the road, I'm still like a small child going, "Ooh, look at that car! Ooh, look at that car! I love, what I mean,
race car friend, race car friend,
race car! Look at that car! Hey, Fro, wake up! Look at that! I get excited. But one that kind of sticks out to me, we stopped at Force Performance, and it was later. We decided to drive at night when we left Texas Motorplex. You know, we didn't want to face the morning traffic there in Texas. We want to deal with the heat. So we're like, we're going to drive through the night and drive to some real crappy hotel. That was a very bad idea. But we did it. We drove some nice. It was nice and cool, and it rained on us. But we get to Force Performance. Those people there were awesome. They were inviting.
They were still there. Wow.
They had drinks and snacks out for us. I mean, they sat and talked to us. I mean, it was there were some good folks. So you know, they took us around and showed us their turbos and all the stuff they had going on. So that one kind of sticks out in my brain. But
that's awesome.
But like, I get sidetracked. I'm like, everything. I'm looking at stuff all the time. So.
Well, I think that was one of the coolest trips then. So we were in the cart that year and knew that traffic was going to be bad and a rainstorm was coming. So we didn't want to be caught in both of those. So we left at like 5 a.m. But that was the night that Doug Cook put his car kind of into the wall. And so we pulled into town and like I was overheated. The car was hot. It hated life. And so we went to the hotel first and then came back to make our pass as it got dark. Dumb idea. We almost didn't get to make a pass. It was, you know, because that put the track down for a little while. And we were already late. It was like 200 people ready to make a pass right when that happened. So it was pretty intense, man. So we went back to the hotel and slept and then left it was probably 4:30 or 5 a.m.
Wow.
Yeah. Dumb stuff you do as a drag and drive racer.
All right. What about you, John?
I'm bad at enjoying checkpoints because if you're a big block guy with a turbo 400, you're just going 55 for a long time. And you don't have time to just hang out. But some of these old gas stations, the old stops, it's not that there's anybody there, but those are the fun ones.
Yeah.
I could drive right past a Buc-ee's to stop at an old Phillips 66 for sure. Love Buc-ee's, but dang, the traffic in and out is horrendous.
Well, I'll tell you, Buc-ee's is a stop for the circuit 2024 because they opened the new one in Springfield. So I'm excited about making that stop. But listen, there's going to be some old gas stations that are going to be route stops along the way, either to or from Joplin, one of the two.
Yeah. But Buc-ee's is way cooler when it's full of race cars, though.
It is. Jonathan went into Buc-ee's Saturday on his way to Oklahoma, and he said it took 20 minutes to get in and 20 minutes to get out of the parking lot.
Oof, maybe some of that'll have died down by the time we.
Let's hope. Yeah, hopefully the hype's died.
Yeah. I hope. Anyways, we'll see. It's gonna be a lot of fun, man. I'm excited to hit a lot of that stuff. And really, you know, last year we had like 4 route stops on the way to Arkansas, and then this year I think we're probably gonna, I don't know, maybe do the same again. I don't know. We're just gonna have some fun. It's gonna be a good time to relax a little bit. And then of course, you know, I think a lot of the stuff that we'll do going through and like that racers will post about and stuff will hopefully end up for other events like 666 or Rocky Mountain 1.0. I hope a lot of those guys end up on the same spot. So yeah, Jason Early says, I could care less about a Buc-ee's, but I'll stop and think about all the things that have happened at a 70-year-old gas station for 30 minutes. I'm telling you, that's one of the coolest things about Route 66 that we're going to be on. Like last year we ran, Galena or Joplin through Oklahoma to Foyle to the little gas station in Oklahoma, 66. Now we're going to go the other direction. So, we'll have covered like 270 miles of Route 66 with the years combined there. So it's going to be pretty neat. I'm really excited.
Yeah.
We are too. We've been talking about it a lot.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate you guys giving me some love on the podcast. Again, if you guys are just jumping in here, Gearhead Perspective Podcast is who we have on tonight, running an amazing podcast. I would say weekly. I mean, you guys pretty much have put out something weekly for a while now.
Comes out Sunday-ish.
Yeah.
And or Monday-ish.
Well, hey, listen, the folks that are listening to our stuff know that from us. I'm going to put out something every Friday, and then it's Thursday evening. Well, let's talk about how you guys do this. Are you hotel guys? You campers? What do you typically like to do? I'm flipping through the pictures here. I know there's a camping picture in here somewhere. Oh yeah, this setup here looks kind of like what we had at race week. So do you guys, are you campers? Or are you finding a hotel? What's the plan?
So I'll go first because I think the other guys are going to have maybe similar views. But so I am less stressed if I don't book rooms. If I book rooms, I got to get to a certain spot at a certain time. The only person I want to tell me where to be when is the guy that calls me to the staging lanes.
Yeah.
So we take, this is Jonathan in front of our shanty town in Pueblo.
Camp Doherty.
Yeah, Camp Doherty. We haul all that stuff in our little race trailer.
Yep.
It's kind of a cool setup with a drum of E85 and a pump to get it to the car, and then a shelf to put canopies and tents on above all that. So we, if Mama's not going, we're not making plans, and we're probably going to end up in some sort of deluxe accommodations like this.
Yeah. Well, this looks pretty neat. Now, the only thing you're missing, in my opinion, is like a canopy mounted tent, because that's what I've got now, and
so
it's been great.
We, me and Jonathan actually camped adjacent your brother's setup most of the week, and
dude, that's
that 20
cool
by
setup.
10 with the walls, man, they got it going on in that deal.
Yes, yeah,
Like,
that was definitely the way to go.
I've done research. I got to get it. I got to get in on one of those, and then that's going to be all I haul. All these other tents will go away.
Yep, that's I mean, it's definitely a plan for 2024 is to add a 10 by 20, drag and drive tent. Because like it may be by the end of the year, but like that's a plan. Because dude, it was so nice to be able to set that up and have those walls, and like inside it's full on 200 square foot apartment in there.
You can stand up. You can plenty of room for activities.
Yeah, we could jump around. I mean, it was great.
I mean, we hung out in a 10 by 10 booth for a week or for a weekend. We can hang out in a tent like that.
So
it was really cool. He would put a tarp down on the ground. Yeah. And then so you kind of had like a floor. It was good. Anyways, if Mama's going,
she has to know where she's staying.
That's
so
like
there will be rooms booked for the circuit.
Nice.
The other stuff is fair game.
Yeah.
But and then sometimes you get somewhere and you're broke down in the middle of nowhere and you call Mama and you say, "Hey, where's the nearest Holiday Inn Express and do we have points?"
Yeah. Yep.
She's gracious enough to put us up.
Yep. That's one thing. We typically anymore don't book rooms because I've paid for rooms and not used them several times.
Yeah.
Bo, what about you, man? What's your plan?
First and foremost, I'm a big shower guy. I like doing that after a long stinky day of being out there. But John is kind of he's giving me some motivation to maybe look more into the camping out part. It may be not that bad. I'm not against stopping at a truck stop and taking a shower.
Yeah.
I'm not too good for that. But historically we find hotels. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we don't book them. Whenever we're done making our pass and we get everything back to normal, put the street tires back on, it's like, all right. And that's one thing we're bad about. Fro and I are bad. We need to hang out longer at the tracks. I know we've talked to John about this. I think we miss a lot of stuff because you know what we do? We'll end up leaving, going to our hotel, getting a room, getting settled in. First thing I do is get in the shower. And then I sit and watch my phone and watch everybody making passes where we were just at.
Right.
That's silly. That's not what I'm there for. I need to still be at the track. So that's what's making me lean toward, I'm just going to stay at the track. I think maybe that's going to be an option.
That's cool. Well, I like that Rocky Mountain races at night, and I keep trying to preach as often as I can because you could do that. You could race right up until the last second and then crawl in your tent and go to sleep.
Yep.
Or crawl in your car and drive into town to get a shower at the closest Love's and then come back and be set up, or do like Steven and jump in the car and drive all night, when it's cool outside and there's no traffic and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Bro, what about you? Are you a hotel guy? Are you open to camping? What's your plan?
I'm a hotel guy. Like when back in the day, we all used to ride bikes together, and we would go to bike rallies, hang out, and the thing was to camp out. And you know, I did it. I didn't like it. I'm gonna try something else.
There you go.
He said, "I'd like a real pillow, please.
Yeah.
Not one that's been in the race car all day."
That's right. That's right.
Well, what about trailers? We know John carries a trailer. What about you, Bo? You a trailer guy? You gonna yard sell that stuff?
I'm gonna be honest, man. I got like 84 cubic feet of room in the back of this turd back here. I'm not gonna lie. I have a trailer, and I'll be pulling a trailer strictly because I love trailer burnouts.
Yeah.
There may not be anything on my trailer. I don't know, but I'm gonna have it. You know.
Yes.
No, the last time we went, we didn't take the trailer. Like I said, I have one. I'll have it for next season. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll bring it for the circuit because we'll be so close to home. So if anything happens, I'll be pretty close. But
be able to
we'll see.
run back
We'll
and grab some. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm with you. Trailer burnouts are the whole reason to pull a trailer.
Right. Well, speaking of the circuit, besides that, what other drag and drive events do you guys plan on attending in 24?
Rocky Mountain Race Week. I think, John, are you already signed up for that one?
I don't think so.
Okay.
That's not. There's no signups yet, right?
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, are you? You ran it last year.
So yeah, I ran it last year. So 2.0 is a shoe in.
Well, I didn't, so I'm gonna have to get on the wait list.
I will likely be doing that. I am gonna either be in or jump on the wait list for the first one because it's right in my old backyard, and it would be really hard for me to pass that up.
Yeah.
That would be, like I said, that would just be really hard to pass up.
So Rocky Mountain Race Week and 666. Those are
2.0 and 666 are really close together. It would be hard to pull off. So if I get in 1.0, probably not going to do 2.0, but I'm going to either way try my tail off to get in the 666 deal because that sounds really cool to me. That's just a really cool route. Good area, tracks I've never been to. Sounds awesome. The weekend after, I guess it's not a drag and drive, but I think the weekend after the circuit is streetcar takeover at Flying H. That sounds like a good time. I feel like I'm going to try to throw an entry into that, but you got the whole list. That's all the ones I want to do. Mama says that ain't happening.
Yeah. So. Yeah, got to start picking now. It's pretty crazy to think that I would have never started looking at planning a calendar. It would have been, hey, there's an event this weekend, I'm going to go. But now it's like having to get the calendar out, and am I going to be somewhere? Are we going to be doing something? All that stuff.
And Midwest Drags, I was just realizing that's, a couple hours away.
Yeah,
in Kentucky, which is ridiculously nice to drive through. Fro's done it.
Yep.
I've been trying to get to the King of the Open Road events too, and I haven't made it there either.
I'm excited to see if Jared's going to do 3 or 4 or 5 events this year.
Yeah.
So Fro, is there any events you're going to try to persuade them to go to?
I'm just being honest here. These guys run things. I just kind of sit in the passenger seat and wait to see where we're going to wind up. It's.
They ask if you want to go, and your answer is yes.
Yes, every time.
His answer is no, and we just say it'll be fine. Get in.
That's accurate.
He's not lying. He's not lying.
That's awesome.
Nice. So, besides drag and drives, what other car-related stuff do you guys have planned for 24? Maybe we'll start with Fro on this one. Kind of work our way around.
Again, I'm a car show guy. These guys are going to be bringing up drag racing events. I'm a sucker for a car show. We've got the Daryl Starbird Rod and Custom show coming up in February. I always make it to that one. It's become a staple. My whole family goes.
Nice.
Basically, any event that gets near this area, Rocky Mountain Race Week, I know of course, Bo's going to be there, so I'm going to be there. John's going to be at 2.0. I'll probably be there too. 666. These are all way too close to our home.
Yeah.
Mocan's always been a home track to all of us. I probably haven't been to Mocan in 10 years, 15 years.
Wow.
And this used to be like a mainstay. This used to be, if we weren't going to Mocan to test somebody's car, we were going to Tulsa to the Midnight Drags. Events like that have always been something cool that I've wanted to go to. I try to help out around Miami, which is my hometown, Miami, Oklahoma. I try to go back and help out with any local car shows they've got going on there. And that's what I like. I like being involved. I like being a part of this stuff. It's always been something that appealed to me to be in this. And that's why, we watched Narcs do this for several years and build up his name, build up his reputation, and we kind of watched that, and that's kind of how we decided, on podcasting. Podcasting it's fun. It's a way to document some of this history, and I was talking before the show, Eric. I've got to come up with some time to come meet you at some point.
Right.
Obviously, you're an integral part of all of this, and I like meeting the people who are into this, who are working on this, who are a part of what makes this work.
Yeah. We're just like you guys.
That's where I want to be. I want to be around those people.
Absolutely. Yep. What about you, Bo? What else besides drag and drive events you got going on?
So one thing other than drag drive events I like to do is listen, I like car shows just as much as the next guy. Fro has a passion for them. I enjoy them. I like driving my car. So any little cruise we have in our area, I don't know if either one of you guys have you ever been to a J cruise night?
Oh yeah, dude. We won't talk about J cruise last year, but I'll 2022. The police chief pulled me over and was like, "Dude, if you do another burnout, I'm arresting your ass."
We went
that.
Yeah, we went last summer and it was crazy. That's a good time. I like cruising. It was so congested though. There were so many cars out. I was like, okay, I'm going to pull over and just enjoy some of this. You know what I mean? One reason because my car was running like crap, which we figured out what it was later. No big deal. It was a big deal.
And they'll let you do burnouts, just not as
and
big as
burnouts. Yeah. On the way home, my car.
You can't smoke the road out, but they'll let you do a quick, tire off.
So on the way home, we figured that my MSD box doesn't function good when it's full of water. So
no.
Which is awesome.
Electronics don't like water.
Yeah. That was the first event that I took my car to after getting it painted. Nice. So months and months, my car being in here, me and wet sanding it and then washing it, wet sanding it. Apparently water was getting inside. My MSD box is inside the car where it's safe, right? Wasn't safe. 100% my fault. Smoked the MSD box.
Nice.
Which worked out. John got to drive his car more that night because I got to use his trailer. So bonus. But yeah, any event that's around here that's a cruise night, which since the coronavirus deal, more of these local towns we got involved with. Fro, you're gonna have to tell me the name of the event in Commerce because I'll mess it up.
Honestly, I'm gonna mess it up as well. It's the city of Commerce, Oklahoma, which again sits right on Route 66. They do a city of Commerce first Friday cruise night.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Okay.
So first Friday of every month, they have a cruise. They'll cruise car show. They have food trucks. There's cornhole tournaments. There's stuff to do. And it's good for the whole community.
Nice.
So one of our really good buddies, he runs that deal. He sets it up, and he said, so we've actually recorded live from there.
How cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool deal. It's not a huge event yet. We're hoping that eventually it will be. But any cruises like that, man, I enjoy that stuff. So
Right.
some of us aren't
That's
spoiled like John with the cruises.
What about you, John? What else besides drag and drive events you got planned for 24?
I got a couple of things. One, like Bo just said, I'm a little spoiled because if you don't see some car show or cruise to go to in this greater St. Louis area at least once a week, starting about the time change and ending about the time change, you got blinders on because they are everywhere. There's a ton of guys that they may not be drag and drive guys, but they're definitely going to car cruises with a car built like mine on a 28 10.5 Hoosier.
Yeah.
And that's just what they drive around with.
Yeah, those are the guys we need to target and bring them over.
Super target audience going on there.
Yeah.
So do a lot of that stuff. Me, the wife, the kids, we're all pretty big into that. And then if anybody didn't know, I have a little bit of a motorcycle addiction. I got them stacked in here like Tetris. And since moving to St. Louis, we have really let that go. I really need to ride my motorcycle.
Yeah. You got to, dude, that's the only time I that I don't have music playing or my mind's not working was back when I would ride motorcycles.
Yeah.
You're in it. You're on the bike and you're just cruising.
Yeah. City's not been fun so far for motorcycle riding, but we've been up here long enough. Stuff's slowing down a little bit, and we can try to get out of the city and try to put some miles on them deals.
See, I'm the opposite. I feel like I ride my bike too much that my cars sit.
Yeah.
Because in my house, I've got 2 cars in the garage and at least 3 or 4 in the driveway. So when I get up in the morning to go to work, if I want to drive a car, I got to rearrange the whole driveway. If I want to get on the bike, I can just snake it between everything and go to work. So I end up riding that pretty much more than driving the cars.
That's awesome.
There were times in my life that I would ride the motorcycle enough that I'd go to get in the car and the battery would be dead.
Nice.
I gotta quit neglecting that.
I rode mine back when I had a different bike, not the bike I got now, but it would be single digits when I would leave work in the evening and have to ride home.
No, I'm out. I'm a 50-degree guy. If it's less than 50, I'm out, bro. I'm in something with doors.
Yeah, today I'm that way with the Harley that I got now, but when I had my sport bike, it didn't matter. If there wasn't snow on the ground, I was still riding.
It don't have anything to do with the kind of bike. It's because I'm old now.
Well, yeah, that too.
Because 20 years ago, I rode that Heritage home in an ice storm.
Yeah.
And now, if it's under 50, I'm pretty well reconsidering my choices.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Well, I agree. That comes with age for sure.
Right. One thing you guys didn't talk about was PRI, and I know we're going to talk you into going to PRI in 2024.
Man,
that's a goal of ours.
Yeah. I'll just tell you right here, get it on your mind. You guys can, if you're not a member of PRI already, you need to be. And so you can get in. We're going to have a booth. So you have a spot to hang out and put your shit, right? You don't have to carry your 40-pound sack of goods from everybody. You can keep it there. You can come by. You can hang out at the booth. We're going to book rooms. Like you guys can get adjoining rooms. We can get a door that opens. We can drink beers together. It'll be fun. Just get it on your mind. Get ready. We'll go up on Wednesday. We'll come home on Sunday. For a good time.
It is. Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You just invited the wrong crowd.
Yeah. It took one syllable to get me there.
And it's recorded. We got it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a blast. We had a ton of fun this year. Travis and Red Hat Scotty are already on the list to come back. They've said they want to come. Steven's going for sure. So we'll just rent 2 or 3 different rooms and try and get them as close together. And y'all, there was one night we were going home. We were going back to the hotel at midnight, and then we were like, "Oh, let's just go back. We'll hang out. It's our last night here," and it was 4 a.m.
Yeah. The networking till 4 a.m. is a little rough.
Yeah, but it's so worth it. All right, let's pivot because we've talked about cool car stuff this time, but y'all, we got to talk about the podcast. Like because that's, I mean, y'all know we love doing this. Eric and I love talking to people, but I love to kind of pick the brains of other, especially automotive podcasters, because a lot of times for us, we're still writing this show. Like I wrote most of this show today and late yesterday. So we want to talk about like, how all this came about. Fro kind of mentioned that early on that you guys have known each other for a long time, helps document all this stuff. But like, how did Gearhead Perspective Podcast come about? How did you pick the name? How did you do all this stuff? And how did you suddenly get to 45 episodes?
Bo, you want to get this, or you want me to get this?
I mean, I'll start it off. In all honesty, Fro was recording a podcast with a few other guys over in Northwest Arkansas. So we were listening because Fro's our brother. We're going to support him, right?
Yeah.
So we're listening to the show. And then, me and Fro have been pretty close for a lot. Well, just all three of us have, but Fro would come home on the weekends because even though he lives in Arkansas, he's back at home every weekend. Nice. He's like, man, this podcast thing is fun and blah, blah, blah. And we have a ton of stories from literally almost 30 years of hanging out and being silly and doing whatever. He's like, well, man, let's do a podcast. Let's share some of these stories. And we're like, yeah, I'm on board, I guess. I was like, Fro, I don't think you need me to do it, man. You can do it on your own. And I told him that. We argued about it. He's like, no, I need you. I'm like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily have a voice for radio, whatever. So eventually he talked me. yeah, thanks. So he talked me into it, and we quickly learned that we can't share a lot of those stories we talked about we wanted to share. We just can't. You know what I mean? Yeah. But the first 3 or 4 episodes we recorded was right around COVID, and it kind of just fell apart.
Yeah.
They weren't very good. We didn't have the audio figured out. We had crappy microphones. We didn't, it was uncomfortable. It felt kind of forced. And we wanted a show where it was just us guys, or, at the time it was just Fro and I.
Yeah.
And we wanted John to be involved, but he was in St. Louis and we didn't know how to make that work without him coming home or us going there every weekend. So we just wanted the show where just a couple of guys sitting around just BS and talking about car stuff, right? And now, whenever I talk to people, I talk to several people I see on a daily basis that listen to the show or now watch the show, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you guys are funny." I'm like, "Oh cool. Yeah. We're an automotive podcast."
Yeah,
and they're like, "Yeah, okay." Well, no, I mean we are. That's what we all are into. But mainly, I circled around the answer a bunch. But mainly, Fro's doing podcasts. He had fun with it. He introduced me to it. We got John involved, and it's kind of just went from there. Now we just spout a bunch of crap every day, right? So,
see, and that's exactly where I was going to go with this. Mike, you said something about writing things down.
Yeah.
How does that work?
So what you do, bro, is you got like a tablet.
Hold on.
And then, okay, yeah. So you got one. Yeah. So you just write in that. So yours probably got pictures. You want words.
Yeah.
But no, he's right. It's we didn't go at this with a plan. We didn't go at this with a script. It started out, we just wanted to kind of remember the things that we did back in the day, and be it the statute of limitations or the fact that we have kids and wives and stuff like that. There's certain stories we just can't tell anymore.
Yeah, right.
We can record them, we just can't tell them.
We just can't make those public. We can have that documented. We just don't want anybody else to see it yet.
Burn those pictures.
Yeah. Yep. Well, that's awesome. Well, how do you guys typically come up with topics? Because you guys kind of cover, when I'm listening to the show, I want to give this to the folks that are at home that haven't listened yet, but you guys kind of go over like what you worked on. I love that kind of stuff. You talk about some of the other segments. You talked about your Facebook Marketplace finds the other day. How do you guys kind of come up with your topics?
So
go ahead, John.
I'm going to jump in here a little bit. You see us all just sitting in our garage right now.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you guys are in your garage with a fancy background. We don't.
Well,
we don't have.
I built a room. Like I took 63 square feet out of my shop to build a dedicated room for this.
We don't have fancy background, but what we do is, I mean, there'll be a couple times a week that I will spend upwards of an hour or two on the phone with one of these guys, just sitting working on my car.
Yeah.
And we'll be talking about something and we'll get to spinning on something and go, hey, we could have talked about that on the show.
Yes. Dude,
and then we'll
we have that conversation.
Right.
And we'll write some stuff down and we'll talk about it on the show.
Cool.
But it's there.
I've said
we don't get to hang out in the same garage, but we still, me and Bo work on that Nova and that wagon together a lot, 300 miles apart.
Nice.
I've said it several times. If we would record our conversations before the show and after the show, that would probably be what everybody would want to hear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's in between.
100%.
No, I mean, it's just what it seems like, but
that's exactly what we said when we recorded one at PRI or after PRI. We got done recording, ate pizza, and then talked for another hour. And we're like, we should have just ate pizza, then went back to recording.
Should have got that on tape.
Yeah, 8 on the record. You know what I mean? Like, and just made it 3 hours because it'd have been easy to do that.
Yeah.
As far as the name Gearhead perspective, back to that was Fro and I were just kind of tossing around ideas of a show name, but the reason we went with that was because, like Fro has said several times, Fro's not a drag racer. He's not building his car to go fast. He likes car shows. He likes going to certain events. I'm opposite of him. Me and John are pretty much on the same page, but it's the different perspectives, right? Just because Fro doesn't drag race doesn't mean he's not a gearhead.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just because I don't know what headlights on a 48 Mercury look like compared to the 46 Mercury doesn't make me not a gearhead. Fro knows that stuff. I don't.
Yeah,
so Fro knows a lot about stuff that I don't. John knows a lot about, stuff that Fro doesn't know about. So we all kind of, it may not show through all the time, but we all complement each other in that aspect. We all have our own little areas that we're pretty smart with.
That's awesome.
And also it's one of those things where John tends to be a little more reckless. He tends to be a little more free with what he does. A lot of times he'll look at you and go, man, it'll be fine. And your only choice is to believe it.
Yeah.
Bo is right in the middle. Bo is one of those who's believing in John, but he's also crunching the numbers while he's talking about it.
Nice.
And he's thinking about it. I am the negative one. I am the one who goes, there is no way we're going to be able to make this. This is not going to happen. Yeah. And then when we do make it, John gives me hell.
Yeah, Fro is our Eeyore. I guess we'll go to this show.
When it's the night before Power Tour and you blow up your 700 R4 trying to make it do a burnout, and he gives up, and you show up at his house the next day with a turbo 350 and a new drive shaft.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's when you know you got a buddy.
Just to prove him wrong.
Then he says, okay, I guess we'll go.
Fine. Put it in. Get it up on the jacks. Let's go.
Like Fro said, we give him a lot of hell. He's not that bad.
Really, not that bad.
And even with the Power Tour thing, we blew up the transmission. We swapped transmissions the night before, got lucky on a drive shaft. We make it to Springfield, Missouri, and we stop to get gas. And John looks over and I'm grinning from ear to ear. And he goes, what are you smiling at? And I go, man, I didn't think we'd make it this far.
Yes.
How do you guys handle a 2-hour podcast? This is insane to me.
Hold on,
I've been freaking out for an hour.
I got a question. For John. Man, do you miss being able to drive your Nova that far without getting fuel?
Oh my God. If I go that far now, it's because I have a trailer with a 55-gallon drum.
Yeah, and he's just got it plumbed into the car.
Yeah.
Screw it. We're
hauling a drum at E85 everywhere I go.
That's crazy.
So is the podcast audio only, or has it got video too?
No, it's we just recently we started recording the shows and we're on YouTube now. How many shows we got, guys? 4 or 5 up now?
I think we're 4 or 5 in on YouTube. You can find us there, and then our audio is usually a day or 2 behind on all of your podcasts.
Wherever you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, whoever can stream a podcast, you can find us there. But we encourage you to go to the YouTube. That's the uncut.
Yeah. And eventually we do plan on getting all the audio episodes. We're talking about building some slideshows for whatever we're talking about and throwing that up there. YouTube eventually. That's something we're going to try to do sooner than later, I think.
Nice. Good luck.
Thank you.
So hard. It's so hard to go back.
We just got one more subscriber on the YouTube channel, so
Yep. And I enjoyed it. I watched I typically consume podcasts through my headset, but or while I'm driving, but I really was trying to do work today, but turned on, I think like one of the first episodes you had done on YouTube, or maybe the second or third, I don't know, but it was really good. You guys bring in slides, you do all the stuff, and it works well. I ended up watching, I think probably at least half of it, and I was like, shit, I gotta work, man. And so like I went back to work and got all that done instead of watching you guys, because it was fun to watch you guys do that, to have a completely different aspect.
Yeah, and we're still learning. We're still figuring it out. Fro and I did the podcast, just him and I, for a long time, for several episodes, and then whenever we figured out the whole recording, remotely, that opened it up for John to be, with us, and we had to learn, how to, for 3 people to talk without running over each other, and we still do it sometimes. We still do it, but
it was rough in the beginning.
Yeah. That's because I know me. I get excited, and if I don't say what I'm thinking, I'm gonna forget it. I got to get it out.
Yeah, poor Eric. I talk over him all the time. All the time.
We need like a sign language when I'm like ready to speak, so I can get him to pause and take a breath, so then I can jump
raise your
in.
hand like that.
Before we did the YouTube thing, that's how we do it, because we do it just like this, but it's like, I'm next.
Yeah.
Me. Yeah, a notepad here next to me, writing stuff down. That's funny. Well, what do you guys have planned for 2024 for the podcast? You talked about adding video to your older stuff. What are some of the other things? On-site recordings. What are you going to do?
I think, obviously we would like to get, have some people on the show. If we can get that ever worked out.
Okay. And, sorry. I was going to be one of those dudes, man. Screwed that all up.
There's actually some local guys here that I've talked to that we're all buddies with. I've talked to Robert Berry a couple times with Bernie. He's local. We've all known him for a long time. He's all about coming on the show, but he's a busy man. He really is.
Oh yeah.
He's a hustler for sure. So he stays pretty locked up. But he's shown interest. He's all about it. And there's lots of local people here that we had with really fast race cars. It may not be drag and drive guys, but there's some pretty cool characters around here we can get on the show and talk to. But also, John going out on this last drag and drive, he met some or Rocky Mountain Race Week. He met some pretty cool people that seemed to be okay with coming on and talking to us. And we're not going to focus on just having guests every show, you know what I mean? But we'd like to sneak some people in there, and the interesting folks, and hear their stories and have them talk to us. But mainly, I think our deal is to do some events, Fro to go to some shows, go to some cruises. PRI, in my opinion, is one of the biggest things I want us to do as a group. That's something we talked about since before we were doing this podcast. So.
Yeah, we'll get it on your mind. You guys are going in 24. We'll make that.
Oh man,
whatever we got to do. I mean, because again, like I messaged you guys, we'll get early access because we're going to do a booth again. We're looking at a 10x20 already. I'm talking to our lady there about a 10x20 booth, which is a big deal. It's way more money, but like at the same time, we need more space, man. There were so many times where people would walk by and like we had the entire aisle blocked with people. So. We just need more space. I need a couch to sit on, dude. I need some chairs, bro.
Yeah. I think I figured it out, fellas. I think Mike just needs help carrying stuff in.
Yeah.
Is that what's going on? You just need help? That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm a big dumb
Listen,
animal.
just show up Wednesday about 9 a.m. Be perfect. Yeah, it's gonna
Hey,
be.
come help me move.
Don't
Yeah.
look at us for a DD either. We're calling Uber. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're definitely
Us.
Ubering. We walked
Scooters.
halfway across the city the other day. Yeah, we rented scooters while we were there. That was the way to go too.
Save,
It was
save
a little
about
more
50
expensive.
bucks because you're going to need that to cover all the scooter rides that go on for the weekend.
Yeah, so it was definitely a ton of fun. And guys, this has been a blast tonight. I hope you guys will have me on your podcast, even though I screwed up the first round. And I'll make it
we'll
up.
talk
I'll
about it.
bring some beers and cake and cupcakes and things like that. If you guys like those, we'll ship some to John if he's not going to be on site. But it's definitely one of my top things to. I'll tattoo that date on my hand next time. So I definitely won't miss that. Set all kind of reminders in my phone with Alexa. You know how that goes.
I can just see it now. You looking at your hand late at night after you're cleaning the garage and go, "Oh man, there was something I was supposed to do tonight."
Bullshit. No, it won't be that time. I'll be over there like 2 hours early. What are y'all doing? I'm here. Yeah. So again, I apologize. That is very uncharacter of me, and especially when I get the chance to talk about race cars with Dragon folks. It's so, and I know we moved some things around, and you guys really made that work for your schedule. I certainly appreciate all that, and I screwed all that up. So I'll be on there at some point, and we'll get all that figured out. And if not, then we'll just record a PRI.
I'm not gonna lie. We spent a big part of the day about 2 miles south of Miami in Mexico doing burnouts and making some street hits, and it wasn't a wasted trip. So.
Well, dang, I hate I missed all that too. So what you're saying is I definitely need to show up early next time.
Yeah. We're not good at much, but we're really good at having a good time.
There you go. I like that.
Semi-pro at having a good time.
Semi-pro having a good time.
That's great. All right, guys. Well, we're going to kick you off again. If for the folks that are watching this and listening later on, if you haven't done it yet, Gearhead Perspective Podcast, you got to listen to these guys. They're hilarious. It really is a lot of fun. I feel like we've kind of grilled you guys tonight, and that's not your typical show. You guys have a lot of great stories and a lot of fun. So I hope we can bring some folks over to you. And again, Gearhead Perspective Podcast. You guys are 45 episodes deep, so you got plenty of time to listen to them. This is our 93rd episode or something like that for the year, live streaming in my little podcast room here. So we have plenty of stuff going on over here, so you have plenty of podcasts to pay attention to.
Yeah,
that's right.
And guys, thank you so much for hanging out.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks guys.
We got just a quick way to shut this down. I know Fro is probably like, I can't talk to these guys anymore, but you're more than welcome to hang out backstage because I would like to talk about a few things if you guys, but gonna need about 3 minutes here to shut the show down.
Sure.
Everybody love everybody.
All right, dude. I had a blast tonight, man. Those guys are awesome. I can't wait to hang out with them in person. I should have done that the other day. And again, I apologize to them and everybody that's out there, because that's the other thing. We then had the opportunity to talk about Dragon Drive to all of their followers and fans. So that makes it kind of fun. Thanks 780 Speed and Custom for coming in here at the last minute. Again, this is going to play on the podcast. I'll work my hardest to get it uploaded tonight to your favorite podcast app under the Dragon Drive Addiction podcast. I do want to talk about Saturday's show. We will not do a Saturday show. There will not be a news episode this week because I'm driving to a city in Missouri to look at go-kart tracks for our circuit racer party. So we're going to leave early. I'm not going to push that back past the time that we really need to leave. It's about 2 hours from the house. So I want to be gone by 8 a.m. I don't want to stay here until 10 and then roll out after that. So the next week's Dragon Drive show is going to be the last one for 2023. We have a huge show planned. We're going to talk about sponsors that are coming back. We're going to talk about sponsors that are new for the year and what that means for the show, what that means for the news. We're going to go over the events we have planned to attend for 2024. And then, of course, anything that comes up between now and then. It will be just me and Eric. There won't be any guests on for next week unless something crazy happens between now and then. But I'm telling you guys, we haven't even gotten started yet. We're just getting this thing figured out, and it's taken all year to get to where we're at now, and we're fixing to turn it on. So there's been some fun stuff that's happened the last probably 10 days since PRI that is really going to change a lot for us. and I'm excited about it. So again, thank you for watching. Almost 2.5 hours tonight. We appreciate that. We appreciate the Gearhead Perspective podcast guys for coming on and hanging out with us and talking through that. So,
yep.
Eric,
Well,
tell them we're leaving.
Yep. Thanks to our sponsors again, Sweet Patina, Molly, Summit, Racing Junk, and Howard's Cam. Again, no Saturday, but we will see you next week for our last episode of 2023. Bye, guys.
See you guys. Awesome.